All right, one morning. Good morning.
Oh.
Let's take everybody. Let's take everybody.
Oh my gosh, you sure did.
How are you?
Scary mornings. I'm all right, how are you?
Good.
Good.
I tried to get in, door locked, and I see you sitting here, I thought, well, maybe I might go.
That was a lot of it. Exactly.
You know where all it is? Oh.
But I just.
What we supposed to do? Yeah, you wear it? Not done.
When I ended it last year, I had to stand up and put podium.
Yeah.
But I was so, and he said right there, one of those there, that's right, I mean, it is. Which up here is there, you know, I don't guess not. Yeah, I said, I'll be perfect. They go out, you're awesome, that's my guys.
There.
Yeah, they are. I'm telling you, don't think you.
Hey,
Okay, well, I can.
I don't know why I get in here, my computer don't work in here.
Why not? Here, it's bad.
I don't know why.
I didn't. I got mine.
It says no internet access. Right, well, let's see.
I've been in course since.
I'm good, how are you?
I have to have the damn courthouse. What's the courthouse security code, you know?
You know, like, boy, the shrimp is it.
I know it won't do it.
The unit starts at 1 and the funeral is 2. 52. Units at 1.
Be sure it is up. I can't get any connection.
My computer's working.
Huh?
I'm showing the internet, but my computer's working.
I'm dead in the water here. Is Scott gonna be here? Who's gonna be here?
Scott's down in his office.
Well, what's the number down there? My internet's gone. So you know how to fix it? If you do, well, that's good.
Yeah, I gotta get,
Okay, get cranked up and
mine cranked up.
Service today.
It's in. Unit with 1 and so.
That's what I was told that he didn't know. You know?
I was gonna bring the supplies and stuff.
You got lucky enough to get these.
I printed them all for.
Fair enough, they're gonna be-
Sure, I got my right. I think I printed all the same.
What's going on here? You're not on the internet.
But I was when I left, and I don't know what's wrong now, you know.
I can pull my stuff up, but it shows them on the internet.
Right, because you had it open yesterday.
Oh, he's on the other thing, there you go.
Are you on the one?
They have a hearing on it, remove.
Just when we come in here and reboot them. All right, what am I doing here?
What?
You get the link?
I did, and I'm in something, but it's just.
Oh, I've got to make you host.
Yeah.
I was hired in this tournament today, people, I got in the state tournament, coach pitch, no, it's in band.
They got
We play games.
they got a district.
Boys.
So they.
I just didn't go skee-ball.
It's hot. I got 14. I did. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They go on this night, and you're gonna have to play some things on Monday. So I went to the book, I found a little old shed, fire in the village and see how.
It's supposed to be on for 100 next week.
And they won't come.
They need to move those games to 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Especially the 14.
Yeah, that's what, no matter how old you are.
They can't perform. They say it's too hot for their kids.
We had that,
Like my campus.
I don't know what grade I was in, it was 2011, was that summer? We got into the playoffs, we're going to the 6 and 7 games, we had 9 and 11 o'clock.
Yes. That is center. When we go to center. Center. My kids, I think he plays Saturday. That's one good thing. So we're gonna get there about 11 o'clock. We're gonna put that to the heat before. we
Don't they call for Saturday?
Everybody calling Saturdays.
People's gotta get some sense. It's
We,
that hot, especially-
We lost last night.
Yeah, I can't hear that right. They all-
Yeah, not bad. I think it's 5-3.
Yeah, they do it.
Yeah.
I talked to Jennifer.
Yeah. Just had some bad
Yeah,
news.
y'all got a young team next year, y'all
Yeah.
go
Should,
for sure.
yeah. All right, we're ready to start our meeting. I will call this workshop to order on Friday, the 23rd of June at 9:07. And any public comment? There are none. All right, we will start with our workshop with the constables. And I guess we will turn the floor over to you guys. We have what you have submitted, each one of you will be up on the screen there. And we'll, go through it and discuss it. We'll start with, I guess, with comment. Start.
First time been to budget workshop and looking back here. I guess I just go over what I raised up. Stuff I raised up.
Sometimes the judge, what we did, we had heard, we didn't know, we didn't have the factual numbers at the time. But what we'd had we'd gotten together as constables and decided, what we thought that we needed. And this 51,428.05, that represents, we'd heard the number of $7,000, which was gonna be that average amount between the counties. It turned out, I believe, on y'all's sheet that was high, fairly high. It was like it was only 4,067. So what we was gonna do, we was gonna ask for that plus certificate pay. As you can see, we've got remind us, based on your certification level, is how much we put in there. So if I don't think that any of us had an argument with it, we'd like it to be more. But if you took the 4,067 and divided that by 2, which would be $2,038.50 or something like that, and then add certification pay, that's what each of our salaries would reflect based on the meeting that we had other that. So you would figure, I haven't got everything in front of me, but if you give me just a minute here, we'll.
Right, you're saying that salary with no certificate pay is already included.
Well, I didn't refigure this,
No, with this one, it's not included. That's what we were gonna do, and then it was gonna have to. That is not included. But when we talk, we just.
so like that top line there. It's based on. Giving us $2,038.50, which is half of the 4,067. Y'all talked about cutting that in half. If you gave us that, and like mine, I'm a masterpiece officer, which would be $4,000. My salary request would be $50,466.55. What? Your masterpiece on that, your master.
There are 3 masters and 1 intermediate.
Yes, sir.
So Tom, so what you are saying, Tommy would be, throwing out a number, say $1,500, but if he got a master, then you go back up to where you are.
That's right. What you got. But once he steps up, gets his advanced, and then eventually the years he gets his master, he can move up automatically. That's good. But I don't know where you're at getting off of that.
Around that. See that the top line, the 51,428.05 was what we were gonna ask for without a certificate pay. But then whenever you came in for it come up to 48 or 49, we were like we talked the other day, it's only $100 off what we were originally asked for with our certificate pay.
Right.
So I don't think there'd be any.
Well, but initially, what I would have been asking for was $55,428.05. But that was based on the $7,000 number to put the whole 7,000. Okay. And then we had a meeting, we discussed what was discussed, and just put the math to it here, it would be 50,466.55 on mine. Yeah, and his would be $2,500 less until he got up his next two levels.
But I think what it also boils down to that, like we talked, Jesse, we at least like to make. Are based out of what the sergeant said, the sheriff's office, but that's what we've always said.
And that would, we prefer more, and we would like to go to the level of, at least making. The pay of the sergeant and sheriff's office, this still puts us. Under most. Sheriff's office. The rest of it is just, we figured in the insurance and all that stuff, and I kept. My line items all the same, except I asked for. $1,000 more in fuel. Everything was basically the same on mine, I think yours.
So would y'all say it's fair as a group? With this number that I got from all these counties. Took half that number, and then add your certificate pay. Would y'all think that is fair?
I think it is fair, but also I think you gotta look at the other counties, what they're, the constable do in other counties, I think what we talked about here. But
Not perfect, Keith.
I don't know, I understand what you're saying, but what you're saying, would I argue with that? Absolutely not. Because it's a stepping stone, I mean.
It's a step in the right direction, what y'all are attempting to do, and. We can appreciate that, we just don't, I just don't think that we should do ever. Under the starting pay of the deputy. Elected constable should never be under that, so I don't know what the deputy's going to be making out there. But. We talked about it and we've been. Eventually. I know last year, we had proposed, me and Heath to have a deputy and do a pilot program with it. And this year, I don't think none of us asked for a deputy. But I know the sheriff's department's having a problem hiring deputies. And, if you can't get people in those uniforms, y'all need to give us an opportunity to put somebody in the uniform and show you that it will work. I mean, I've come to the court for a number of years. I told you if I had a deputy, he'd get out there in the first 3 hours a day and more to make his salary. Then he can do other duties. He'd be on a rotation similar to the sheriff's deputy. He'd be working every other weekend. He'd be on the same type of rotation shift. We would have, I believe, a lot more coverage. Well, I know we'd have a lot more coverage. But, we're going on year 4 now. That the sheriffs in this county have not been able to fill the manpower slots. And I can at least hire one guy to work his tail off. I think these guys can hire one guy that will work his tail off. And there's the money out there, and I even showed the proposal. I had the Attorney General's office call me the other day. About 2 months ago. And they wanted me to take over serving all the Attorney General papers in the county. Well, I tried that about 6-7 years ago. And it lasted about 3 months. I was bringing in about $3 grand a month, serving civil papers for the Attorney General's office. And I showed that I could fund that position. And I even said, hey, if it don't produce, cut it the next year. And of course, it went nowhere. And I'm gonna be retired at the end of next year, but when I leave this office, I'd like to leave it. And I think I'm leaving it in really good shape. I've never went over my budget. I've always managed to try to turn some money back in. But at some point, I believe the court needs to realize that, hey, you can't fill positions here. It don't mean we don't need bodies. If we didn't need bodies on street, we don't need them positions. You know, so I keep hearing the thing, I've heard it for years. I mean, you know, when I was sheriff, we had 2 or 3 guys on the street at all times. That sheriff's office is doubled or quadrupled or tripled since I was sheriff, and we still got 2 people on the street. So to me, where does that go? You know, questions have to be asked. And I'm not trying to degrade or say anything negative about nobody, but at some point, the court's got to say, look, you can't put deputies on the street. We got constables that can put people on the street. You give me that opportunity, I'll make that position pay for itself. And if I don't make it pay for itself, I guarantee you can pull it the next year. But I'm just throwing that out there. It's not in the budget, but I'm just putting that out there just to let you know that you got 4 of the best constables this county has ever had. And I've been here since March of 1980. And I've never seen a group of working constables like we got here. And I'm proud to work alongside of them. I haven't always been that proud. But I'm telling you, you got guys right here, we're picking up slack. And we're having to still grow jobs. And you just give us the opportunity, we'll show you what we can do. That's
So, Brad, let me,
yes, sir.
why would the people that you could hire, why won't they go to work for the sheriff's office?
Well, I'm talking about one guy. I'm talking about one position. If you told me right now I had to hire 6 people, I'd probably have the same problem. But I have people, there's people. I don't know how to explain it to you, bro. There's people that they're more motivated under certain people. They and Joe's a great guy. I think he's an excellent person. You got a good sheriff that's got good morals and stuff, but it's out sometimes beating the bushes and recruiting that right person. And it may take me just a short period of time, but I will assure you, if you gave me a position, I'd have it filled, and I'd have it filled pretty quick. Why they don't want to go work for somebody else, I don't know. There's probably people that work for you or that wouldn't want to go work for another commission. Same for y'all. I've got people that probably wouldn't leave y'all to go work somewhere else. You have to find that person that's dedicated and to you and dedicated to the job and citizens. But it's all about really leadership and you know, there's people that I couldn't work for. There's people that's been went from one job to another, but they finally went and found out one person that they really like working for. And I believe that's my only answer for that. Bill, it's nothing against the sheriff or nothing like that, but I just feel like I can recruit.
And it's always been also a sheriff's office where you have a good person where there's somebody don't like this person because they're over them, so they're going to do whatever they can do to try to make them look bad. They're working for one person, there's nobody to try to make them look bad. They're trying to go after their job also. So they'd rather come and work for a smaller person than have 15 people over them. They want their position because, I mean, when I was over there, I was a lieutenant. I had people want my position, so they would go and say, hey, well, you did this, you did this, you did it. The investigations, and it would come out that they just didn't like it. But it's all about how many people's over you in the backstab. Talking behind your back, people not manning up and coming to the person that they have an issue with. Instead of going and talking to this person, I got issues with this person, well, they're not being kids, not grown men, they're not gonna go in front of that man. You know, go to the person you got a problem with, don't keep going behind and go back. And when there's only one person you gotta go to your answer to, then it makes it a lot easier for that person to go to, and you're not looking for a rookie either off the streets to come in as a constable. They need to have years of service to know exactly what to do or to know how to take care of their stuff out there instead of somebody you gotta have your thumb on all the time. But it's a lot different as a constable. You're not gonna hire a rookie to come in and do this job. You're gonna hire somebody that's had years of service to come in and do it. that they're paying, specifically looking to survive, that's their main income. Most of the constables have got other income too.
It's big on it too, an issue with the sheriff's department, I was there for a time until this came available, is they're so overworked. I'm telling you show up 5:30 in the morning, and most times you're already hitting calls, you got 2 people. Minimum, you're gonna get 50% of calls, if you're a very risk out there doing your job, you're probably gonna take about 75. You're working not a 12-hour shift, because your course need to be done before you leave. And the rest, you make the rest, you got 4 hours, which are all calls turned in, where they release 4 hours. And I don't know how many times I've had to tell dispatch, hey, I gotta stop, I've got to get my calls done, so this person will get out of bed. You lay there, you put in 15, 16 hours, you get your reports done, and you get home, you lay there, and when I wake up, you got, oh, did I get this report done? Did I get that done? You're sitting down trying to write a report, you get another call, you jump up, you have to leave, a cow in the road. You got 2 heads, 2 of them, that's why we answer so many calls, because we know what, they're having to go to domestics. I get up from my bed and go out there too, to cover on a domestic, because do we want one of our guys out there by himself on a domestic? No, we don't. We do not. It's just, they're just burning out. The deputies are, and then when you get, like I had a young deputy that I got him trained, got him out on the streets, 3 months later, he got called by Mayday, he took a job, and they more money, but it's not just the money, because they love working here, it's just, you get to the point you just die, because you work so much, so many hours, so many calls, so many reports, so many risks, and usually 2 people. So that's, that's an issue. I just don't get burned out, but I was getting burned out. I mean, it's just, and I don't know the answer, but stay where it is.
I'm just saying, it's another way to have an option on the street, like we had that, we have our rotate skills for on evening time, on 10 to 10 shift or 12 noon or midnight shift, everywhere we need to put them. But it's just another option I'd like to, just I guess rehash. But if that, y'all consider that, I believe it would help staff some of our law enforcement issues about.
You'd also have a law enforcement officer.
Uh,
You'd also have a law enforcement officer in each precinct all the time.
No, you would not.
Well, no,
That guy can't work 24 hours a day.
No, I'm saying if he had a deputy.
That deputy can't work
No.
24 hours a day.
but you'd have the mayor, I'd say we would work the shift on like weekends, you'd have, if we was only given. 2 of us was only given the deputy now, and I'm talking about calling a pilot program, call it whatever one you want to call it. And it shows to be successful, then the next year, look at giving the other 2 constables the deputy. And then what we would have in most situations, of course, the deputies have authority. I mean, we go all over the county. I was in precinct 2 the day after the storm, helping down there was stuff. We can go anywhere. So what you also do, you'd have a guy in the area to also assist, or he'd have assistant from that if which one took the call. But it just give you more safety. And like I said, I'd equip my officer with a radar, and while he's out there, it wouldn't hurt, right? I mean, good tickets, not feather legged tickets. You ride them all day long out there if you want to. But you gotta have the time to do that. You gotta have an officer that can go out there and patrol and answer calls. That be strictly what his duty is. The constable continue to do work the burglary sales, work the courts, take care of the civil papers, serve warrants. But put a deputy just out there for patrol and answering calls. That's what we need. We need people patrolling and answering calls. But if I hired someone, they would be hired, me understand, they could work day or nights, weekends or anytime. If they're called to work, and they'd have to agree to that. But I don't think, I think it's been about 4 years since we've had full staff in this county. We have to think outside the box, in order to fix that problem. That's just an option out there for back to the court.
I don't know that we are in the position to establish the salaries today, but we still gotta go through the sheriff and see what happens there. So, what we
But I want to tell you all this, but all 4 constables, we have a good working relationship with the sheriff's office and with all their men and stuff. So it's not, there's no hard feelings anywhere there. We get along with them well.
I think it's the best we've got along with.
Yeah, it's
In the last year.
it's really a good situation right now. We just need, I think, more bodies on the street.
But when you talk about adding a deputy, you got a significant capital investment too, vehicle and all equipment, correct?
Sir,
You have a significant investment in capital by buying a vehicle and equipping it with all the,
yeah, that's correct.
like $60,000 to $70,000.
Yeah, I think right now, I don't know how much they went up, Chevrolet has went up. I know the basic cost on the Tahoe that I got last year was 33,000 something, I think. And you know, with if you put new equipment and stuff on it, I think it runs it up about another 15 grand or close to 20 grand with everything. So I think, you know, it probably costs you after tax, title, license, and everything, about 55 grand to buy one and outfit it. It's still at the same cost. I don't know what the vehicle cost of going to low.
So I just talked to Reliable this morning and through November 1 of this year, they had the contract and it's for a 2-wheel drive Tahoe. We said he really couldn't nail down. I tried to get him down. He said thinking about 45, but that's no contractual agreement that had the Texas Sheriff's Association or anything, so it could be more than that. So by November 1 of this year, that's off the table. It's going to be free for it.
Does that include the outfit in the car? Or just
Yes.
so do they add another 10, 12?
So that shows you they're looking at going at least about 10 grand on
And then everything
with robbery.
Well, it is, I mean, the camera system, I think you said was like
There's 6 grand.
$6,000.
Yeah.
6,000.
Is that the new ones that do the license plate reading too?
That's the watch point.
You got built in.
So you're looking at 60,000.
Yeah.
To get-
Minimum.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. man.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, there's enough agencies around that's done stuff. You can find some maybe some used consoles or something like that to put in them. But
And then I think the sheriff's office is going to give us constables and watch lawyers that they got donated to them or something. I've got a body.
I've got a watch guard.
But it still doesn't work because they haven't got the.
No, it's still showing, but it got software.
The software. They did give us body cams already that they got donated to them. They would download to their server once they got the server for them. It'd be a lot easier because we don't have to worry about a server at our office to download the files. We just go over there and we download there.
And the Wi-Fi is automatically in.
Yeah.
Plug station, you have plugs different. I was at that, when they were talking, the DA had access to it, what do you think?
Yes, because right now, when I download my money, I had to go buy an external hard drive because my computer was full, it wouldn't even hold no more videos. I couldn't even get on my computer, my laptop. Because that's where all my videos were going.
And new one's cloud based. It downloads and puts it in the cloud and the DA can pull
Well, I
it.
got a terabyte, it's almost.
Yeah, I had to go buy an external pair.
We save all our video, it's, you know, it's, the DA's always actually mine. And so I saved every video to a hard drive, and it goes up on the play, but it also go by another terabyte, start continuing down. The other, the watch party album will be it's cloud based, you know, that we don't have.
Once you got it, was good.
We can find out where they're at on that.
Sir,
We can find out where they're at on that.
yeah. Because right now, my encoder camera is, won't even download it because everything's so cool. I don't even have an encoder camera. And all I have is my body. Won't even download to the little USB bill and takes so long. Because it's that watch bar system, but there's no server for ours to download. We have to use a little USB and put it in there and take it out, put it in the computer, download it. My USB and my in the car storage is plumb full. It won't even Rusty trying to help me get it all off my import camera, and it's so jam full when it come off. We still over about 4.5 hours a day trying to get it off. Now, we did get my body cam stuff off of my computer onto another, I had to go buy an external verify computer. And we got that to where I could at least have my body cam. So it's, but we're using them so much, that they're filling up in a day or two.
The law requires you to retain it. Definitely not.
And every time we have a contact with the civilian, we're supposed to have our camera on, our body cam anytime. And they're just filling up.
What is this, print? $2,150, what's that for?
The office supply,
Uh-huh.
okay. I didn't have a printer when I first came in. 3 printers in there, but they didn't belong to the county and they were junk. So I didn't have a printer for a long time. I was using JP printer. Well, finally, I get a printer. It's a nice printer. I love my printer, but it's not the Ricoh printer where they supply the ink. So the JP's office, the ink is supplied with the printer.
It's their contract.
Yeah, their contract. Well, on my case, some of the cases and on the illegal dumping stuff I do. Sometimes the court needs color copies. And they would have to use my printer to do it, which not very often. But I like color pictures for the cases and stuff like that. And so it didn't take long. I run out of ink. The black and the cyan run out. Well, when I called Rusty about Amazon, I could get the printer ink for $69 or something. And I have a copy of where Abels and Land has it for $199 for each. There's 4 cartridges. So I said, well, they supply the ink. He said, no, it's not for that printer. They won't supply the ink. And so you have to buy the ink. And I said, well, can I buy the Amazon ink for the $69 and something a cartridge? And he said, sometimes that Amazon ink, what you buy there won't be compatible to the printer, and it would void the warranty if something happened on that nice printer. So I have to go with the $199 ink, and there's 4 cartridges. So I didn't know what to put. I put replacing. I mean, normally I have $350 for office supplies. All I did was added 8 cartridges, and that's changing them twice during that year. And that's what I come up with was I mean, I don't know what else to do. I ordered a black cartridge the other day. And I'm hoping, I got this one case on this illegal dumping I'm working on. And I'm hoping it'll give me enough on that one to do the color, but I don't know if it will or not, so I just. I mean,
IT don't provide cartridges.
No, and I have the same issue, mine's 2.5 months, like black. Same thing, I looked at all my other 3 cartridges and they're like 33%, so I'm doing everything I can not to do color. And I didn't go up this much, I probably should have raised up a little bit more, I just went to 500 for that reason, because I'm trying to go back to the new printer and I have, I get particular orders and stuff, I can't find a bit of paper, and I don't even want to use my printer, I still yeah, it's a pack with these printers that they make the money, not off selling the printers, but all the printer cartridges that you get. They're very expensive.
Y'all got your printers through our IT department.
Yes, they buy it out, so I didn't know I get it, I said, I'm appreciative, it's just.
oh, they're not printing. I mean, I
It's
love it.
just the cartridge is so expensive when you use it. So
You got mine, it's been over there for a year and a half, we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
I got a brand new computer over there, or
Printer.
printer,
Right.
because I never had a computer.
Right.
I don't have a color printer, I wish I did, I go over to other departments and bomb off of them.
Well,
And what I've got, sometimes we do need a color
Right.
photograph, but most of the time now I take my photos and dump them on my DVD with my interview and all that stuff. So I just send it to them and if they want to print it off.
that's
they
what you
got
do,
it.
yeah.
So I'm doing most of my stuff that way now, but every now and then I do need a color photo. And so I'll slide around PD or two. They'll run me off a few copies, so they help me out there, but I do understand that it would be nice to have a color printer. I wish that the only thing about that, you gotta be programmed to when you just do a black and white, put it on that setting.
Yeah.
And save that color
I
printer,
mean, color of that
See the dance. I didn't think.
for that reason, I mean, the VA, without their doing something, she need to color pictures. So we can here and get it online and get it on a salt base, so she gets, but other than that, I don't do color. But anyway, that kind of, he's right on that. Very expensive. I think the last, I don't think, and I don't really since 3,000 sheets. I don't know why I didn't print it. 3,000 sheets of paper for that black one out, so I'm just hoping that person that will fill up and give it out.
I got this one case, and I mean, my back using JP printer again for my other stuff. Because I didn't want to use the rest of that sign up, I got this one case. That I'm gonna need to be sitting in there, I could print them somewhere else, but. I'm back on to Walmart and downloading them off the phone, but then you're hooking up the system or that I can't do that. So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get these color copies with this different stuff that I'm doing. But I did order a black cartridge, which I had $350 in my office supplies. That was able some land. I hadn't even got that cartridge in yet, but it's $199. It's the only one I can buy. But I tell them. And the black's $199 each. I just look here, that's why the colors are $219 each. $219.99, and that's through Avis. 99 with the black, $219. So
He's what training are you gonna do? Get $1,500 training, what?
That's just do it for our, we'll get to do it for our update. They said I didn't have no training last year. I had to move some money over.
T-Post cover all that?
No, Tico's don't pay for our school.
Oh, you don't have anything on that?
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
You gotta get-
But I was unaware, and so it came that we had to request that.
You have a second team code.
Yeah, but we requested it, and I said, she just information, so I had money for 20
But I didn't get mine in
for the following.
for the following year.
But we didn't get it for this.
You need to share them how to do that.
Yeah, we got it now, because I contacted,
Yeah, so when I get my check from the comptroller's office every year, I turn it in to the treasurer, or auditor, and they deposit it in my P code line. I haven't even, so, I mean. There is some free schools that we can go to, but then we have to go to these mandatory constant schools at this, so we have to pay, I pay for my hotel and my stuff out of that.
Yeah.
And my training out of that. They give us right now, it reduced with this year, we got about $600 this year. We get an average of $600 something a year for T-code training. Well, sometimes it don't take that much, but that's money that stays in that fund.
Yeah.
Like mine, I've got, I think, $4,000 something in my T-code training.
That continues to build.
Yeah, that way, if you figure a good school you want to go
Right.
to, then you can save up for it and go to that. Do you know how much money is in your T-code training?
I think it was 15. 100 was insane. He told me the other day that I had to move some money was ready to have it in there. The last, that's the reason why I put that in.
yeah, I can pay it out, but I think now I have a little bit left from last year and carried over, so therefore I should be good for a year, and then I'll get it, the
Following
I
years,
get it put in,
so it'll build up.
know how to do it.
Yeah,
have a-
right.
have a question, so,
Yeah.
and I got the, email from the call saying you did not get your bills.
I didn't know.
This year, because you did not, question, I'm like. I didn't want to
So,
that.
so when you get your check,
Break down.
when you get your check, you get a sheet in there that you have to fill out what you spent in past years, saying and give them, and you sign it, you got one paid there, or you got one paid position. And you have to send that back in, that's the only thing.
That's why next year, this time we get it now, so the next year we should be good. Because we missed this year, but I did call her and there was some carried over, so I'm not having a big old letter, so I'm over there, so I can take that out of my. So, yeah.
That's what they know about.
Yeah, but 13. So I think you can use that.
Yeah, I didn't know I had 80.
Okay, yeah. I knew you had you had to have something carried over.
Yeah, because apparently that carries.
That's
over,
right.
so we don't have to worry, we're not gonna say, okay, well, this year we're going into it with nothing, so there is a carryover, so mine is not using that.
Was it my line you did? If I had $13.
You got, that should do you,
Yeah,
and then
that-
you'll get your next year's, you'll get $600
Right,
and
yeah, so that shouldn't be, there could be one.
Yeah.
But Tommy, how are you justifying $3,000 more in fuel than the other three?
Miles an hour. The, you talking about,
You've got $9,000 for fuel, and the
Yeah.
other three have 6.
well, I started out with 5,000. This budget year we're in now. And then we just added 4,500, which I don't know if I'll use all that. But I think that way come up with that 4,500 was an average of my months. The average of the months, that's where the 4,500 came from. Yeah. And some months there's more, depends on what's going on in the county. Depends on where I'm going, if I'm going to Rolling Oaks or if I'm going to precinct 4, it's a long way from me to go.
But would it be the same for like, say, Pat to go to Rolling Oaks from Francis, it's the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at the mileage on his car, he puts more mileage in a year on his car than the others.
Yeah, and the budget deal, like Chad said before. You know, I had $5,000 to start with. Well, when I did the budget deal last year, I just put what the previous constable was putting. I'd always bought my own fuel. I never used county money to buy fuel. I bought my own fuel for 7 years. So I didn't know what the county did. I didn't. I didn't know what
They
it
have
had.
a vehicle also gets as good as guys that feel mileage, they're already needed for the soil, and there's so many miles on it. And when he gets a new vehicle, it all helps with the fuel mileage too.
You know, I got a vehicle that's got 190,000 miles on it. I mean, we changed the water pump last year and I paid that thing.
And it's a regular vehicle too, it's not a police package, right? It's not-
It is, yeah, it's a police truck, yeah.
No, the one you're driving now.
Oh, no, it's regular pop,
And
it's
it's
not.
they don't get good fuel mileage anyway.
You probably getting 8,
Uh,
9, maybe I'll be.
We're getting double with what he's getting because of his vehicle. When he gets a new one, it'll come up, but
Anybody know, sees me drive, they know I don't spin it around, I ain't just hammer
No,
down.
I wouldn't.
Oh, no, I know you
I don't
wouldn't.
know why you.
I'm just saying, I don't drive it like that, and it's still, you know, I go through a lot of fuel. I mean, I'm riding my roads, you know. Chad rode the other day, people come down the road talking to me, and anybody that's coming through here, you know, I mean, it's that way all the time, all of us do that. But I worked last night till 12. You know, and a couple nights before I worked till 3 o'clock in the morning, because I was helping county. And just, you know,
You gotta take some time off.
well, I do, I mean.
You can't live in that car.
Well, I know, but, I mean, that's what I love to do.
I know you love to do that.
But
Yeah,
I keep waiting on y'all to tell me to quit, you know, don't work so much, but. I mean, how do you tell people when they call and the county need help, and like Jeff said, you got one officer going up there, you know, and they're by themselves, and Edgewood, you know, by themselves. Edgewood ain't got an officer half the time, you're going up there and, you know, it's just.
And that's why I go back to what I started at the beginning, we got the best group of constables we've had, and I guarantee you, if y'all listen to the radio, you hear a call, you hear one of these guys headed that way. If, you know,
You get home,
it does a lot.
you get home and you hear something. Pat done the other day on the record, but you hear something right down the road from your house and you just got home, and you're fixing to go to sleep. Well, everybody else is way off. You're right, you're 3 miles away, and that happens a lot. You're gonna get back up and you're gonna go, I went over on the interstate one morning at 6 o'clock, van needed help. And they was working a wreck, and a little old dog had done bit that fireman through that fire glove. And they had rolled that car, killed 3 people out of 5. And they're calling Grand Slings for a catch pole. Everybody knows I got a catch pole in my car, because I always carry, when I carry extra cage, put something in. We had to find something.
Maybe
They hollered at Canton now, both their trucks was locked, Canton and Grand Sling, so I get up. Go to van, reach in there through the airbags, pull that little dog out, then they can hook up, they couldn't hook up the vehicle, the old dog was tearing them up, the dog was scared, he was throwed out of it too. But, you know, I don't have to get up and go do that, and I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else here, but we're all willing to help. You know, and I'm burning with fuel, I mean,
And you're,
out there.
you're an elected official, you work all you want to, we'll pay the gas. Okay, and I agree with you, Pat, best group of constables we've ever had, okay? But remember, we cannot pay for the person, we had to pay for the position. I've had an employee over there before that was retired, equipment operator, best I ever had. I don't have him now anymore because he went somewhere else where he made more money. I couldn't give him more. All I can pay is for the position. I cannot pay for the person. So, but I agree with you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for what you do. But you're fixing to retire, Pat. We don't know that the guy comes in behind you if he's not going to do nothing but serve papers.
That's, you know,
And we can't.
you're absolutely right, but that's it should go for every elected official. Anybody replaces Virgil, got all these years of experience.
He does.
He does how not to run, that's got.
He don't get more, he don't get.
May not know, you know, boot polish and paint, you know. And
He don't get more money than me. He's worth more money than me, but he's getting more money.
You make the same. as
I mean, he's got, look at this right here. But Virgil, he's been there 20 years. He's been there 6 months.
good job.
I mean, you paid for the position. I'm sorry. That's across the board.
And to me, this is what we wish for,
Yes, sir.
you know, and hope that we can get and that, run the department for the following year.
Every one of you guys can go somewhere else and make more money, and we know that. Every one of them.
Well, like
But
with this,
that goes back to what we had said in the other meeting. It's why we got to hold on to the people we got, you know, the clerks in these courts has been there for so long. The elected officials that we've got to spend here and their employees, the longer you keep an employee, the better you are off. I'm telling you.
That's exactly what I'm.
Y'all's guys that work on y'all road crew and stuff, you got them several that they know what to do. You don't have to tell them what to do. And you lose a couple of them guys, man, it's like we got to start all over again.
But they do, but you know, you can't.
And you don't lose people, but what we have to do, and we talk about fixing this problem in the county, is we got to find ways to retain these employees.
You can't do it, Pat. Our money is limited. We're not, we can't raise the price of our
It's
service.
not completely always about money too, you know, it goes back to that, you know, I said, well, leadership. If we got, and I think we've got good leadership in this county right now. And people like to be happy where they work. They don't want to show up and some prick is their boss. And they're looking to get out real quick. So all of us as elected officials and all of the supervisors and all these departments, we have to treat our employees good, because there's nothing better than going to a job and working it all your life. And I'm an example of elected official that's been elected to 9 terms in this county and been paid low wages, but I love my job. And anybody that's ever worked for me, I treat them good. I've always been good to people. And if we all do a little better job of doing that, we'll keep a lot of employees just based on that.
You're never gonna retain.
You're never going to retain. There's some people that's just got to go on because they got to make a living. But some people, you know, we get that, like the sheriff said, we get that price narrative. I know Bird's worked in Dallas, and it ain't fun living down here and driving to Dallas every day, and especially today. And you know, some people will sacrifice a lot just to stay around home.
If you make it fair and comparable to everybody else,
Yeah,
most will stay.
that's right.
Not all, but most.
I agree.
A hell of a lot more we got now.
I agree.
And you guys, you're elected officials,
Yes, sir.
and you schedule your own schedule, and I want to compare, the deputies to you all. They work a shift work, their own call. You guys can work 8 hours and go home. You don't have to worry about calling. You don't have to worry about the dispatch calling. So you
I
guys are
disagree
elected
with you.
officials.
I disagree with you right now,
How?
because I work more hours than a deputy works.
He's
a
saying
week.
you can. He said.
I can, well, yeah, I could, I have the choice to not work.
Right.
I have, yes, sir.
That's,
I cleared 2 burglaries and 3 thefts last week.
and you do a great job. I'm not saying that you.
And I could, but you know how many calls I get a day that a deputy had a chance to take care of that call. But what did they do? We referred to Constable Jordan, call him. And hell, I can take care of it in 15
I know you are.
minutes.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying you don't have to. You can do what you want. You work and set your hours, whatever.
Well, I'll tell you, the
You
people
work
precinct
days, you
4,
work nights.
the people precinct 4, the citizens down there, they would disagree with you on that, because everyone's, my 911 to the folks in precinct 4 is 903-520-6825. And I guarantee you,
it's the same in precinct 1.
so, you're right. In theory, I have people tell me, well, you don't have to do that. Why don't you just start taking it easy? Well, I'm not made up that way.
Right.
And so I have to disagree with that whole concept immediately. I'm just not gonna do that.
Right.
The next constable or the next, like you said, he might just be a paper server. That's not me, and I don't think it's one of these guys here.
I carry that phone, phone with me, and I can take calls, and then I have to try to call somebody here to take care of it, because we get all these referred to. I think I called you on my last review. They said, hey, this is what's going on right now. And I think I ended up calling Pat from jail, to go.
Yeah.
And y'all go at the risk, because I'm 8 hours away.
Yeah.
And I was dealing with that 8 hours away. But people are calling me because they call the sheriff's office at that time. I'm not saying it happens a lot now, but at the time, they were waiting 2 or 3 hours. And then the sheriff department never call them back, they never do anything, and so they were calling us.
Yeah.
And it's never went back to them calling the sheriff's office now.
Right.
It's all about who the people out here are sure, they trust that we're going to get something done. That's the reason why they call us all that.
That's our home. I'm not, I mean, they call constantly, they call me before they call the sheriff's office because they respect me and they know I'm gonna, if they're doing wrong, I'm gonna get them, but if they can be helped, I'm gonna help them. And they call all the time. I mean, there's not a break. And when I was a reserve for 7 years, I mean, the calls I got all the time that I would refer to the constable or the sheriff's office. There's a lot of times I went out and I was in a dump truck or on a piece of equipment. And I would go be right down the road and I'd go up on a call or something. And it was to help because they were calling me first. You know, and then I would call county and say, hey, we got something going on over here. And answer your question, why they won't go to the sheriff's office, they'd rather work for him. That's their home. That is my home. For 8.5 years, I've had people try to get me to go to work for them at an agency. And hey, you make more money over here. I said, well, you know, this is my home. These are my people. These are my people. And that's the same with them. I mean, that's why they're going to work there. That's why I work there. That's why I did it for all these years, is because that's my home. Those are my people. And I'm going to do what I can to help them. And if you average up what I'm making an hour, I could work, you know, a minimum of so many hours a week. But I'm not gonna keep everybody happy. And my pay average per hour would go up. But right now, I'm not making much of nothing. I mean, but it ain't, that's my choice. That's my choice to do that, and I'm happy with it. But I'm happy with working like I do.
So to sum it up. With what I proposed, I'm not saying the court, it was me, and we'll discuss it. Y'all think it's fair for what I've got, and then y'all like, where's look at it a day. I'm not saying we will, but we'll look at it. And y'all think what we have as just salary structure is fair, not perfect, but fair.
Absolutely. I don't think there's no reason not to think it's not fair.
Gentlemen. Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
y'all. Thank y'all for letting us do this.
Y'all have any other questions on the individual line items on the budget?
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next probably even matters.
I don't know.
Yes.
Sandy,
Right.
on certification pay at the sheriff's office, that's included in their salary, but do they get the retirement on it?
Yes, it is. I would have to check. Probably.
It shouldn't be included as part of the retirement.
Like our mother.
Yeah.
Right.
So say it'd be just like our mileage, their cert pay shouldn't be. Well, the
Your mileage. I'll check. He did not know, he does payroll. Yeah, he should know. People that get it.
no, no.
Saying on the premises stuff. I'm the only one that has kilos. Listed.
Wherever you are.
They all have to.
Yeah.
That's their training.
That's what that meant.
That comes straight for the,
I get about $600 a year.
used to get more, but they have the discount. Yeah, I know.
The reason jail has quite a bit, because,
Hey, precinct four is just. I don't know if.
We never used it.
You don't like it, I'm joking. We cleared the road, you can't get down.
Yes, big deal there. Closed it.
But I'd rather you do it,
Right.
because you really don't have any association with it.
Oh, I've known her a long time. Sure, and I'm not gonna say that, but I'm sorry. We got roads up. And we pushed her tree back over on his property.
Her brother. Real close to her brother.
Her
Niece.
So it was what?
But she knows for me.
I got, was it 9, 8?
It's just about your feet to get hold of you when you can.
Don't let it break. Hold on,
Great.
come on in.
Looking for is what we pay the house.
So you're in.
Comes out of O&O funds, O&O 500.
Now, use one is my own. No.
Hey,
Somebody asked.
They don't use it.
you have to go back to you.
Found out with other people, you go cut something. No race car. But, I'm even gonna be at $300. That's what I mean.
I'm sure that can let you go down below. You should.
Very big convention, really. I'm just good.
Share. Share. Give them share it into them. Wow.
Budget if need be. It's another argument over it. Yeah, I know you direct online, couldn't you on that, so they're in big. I got my chance.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll get through it.
So did you find out about that grant?
Yes, if you want to,
We'll get to it. I just.
when they come back in, I'll address that, yes, sir. It's,
Okay.
not complicated timing. We would be a year out. When they come back, I'll go to it. little more in depth into it.
I didn't know if you had time.
Oh, yes, we did. I talked to Thomas Kerr of TAC. And, I talked to Keenan and Zandt Thomas. We got more information.
We doing jail or sheriff first?
Let's talk about jail first.
All right.
I don't know where jail is. Must be at the very end.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, it's at the very end.
okay.
All right.
Good morning.
Are you ready, sir?
Ready as we're gonna get, I guess.
And ladies.
Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Commissioner Barton just asked me a question about Senate Bill 22, the funding, the grant funding from the state. We spoke, Melanie was with me yesterday. I spoke to King Lemons, which is our TAC law enforcement representative, and then we also spoke to Thomas Kurz yesterday afternoon. He called me back. This is my understanding, my interpretation, so Melanie, correct me if I'm off on what your interpretation was. We asked Thomas about the Senate Bill 22. How's this going to work? When's the funding going to be available? He asked when our fiscal year started. I told him October 1st. He said, okay, this funding, their understanding of it at this point is you have to apply for this funding, this grant within the first 20 days of the fiscal year. So by October 20th, we'd have to have it filed. The way the bill's set up right now, we can't file the paperwork, request the grant until January. So we're out for the
Fiscal year.
Yes,
this coming fiscal year. We can apply for it in January, the funding would come the following fiscal year. Year from October.
FY25.
Yes, sir. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Number two, he says, this is a grant for experience that these grants at some point could play out. This is a year-to-year program. So we apply for, but he said, like with some of these other state funded grants, the time state got on tougher times, things happen, this grant funding could go away.
Well, I promise you it'll go away.
I retired from them, yes, sir. Money comes, money goes, whatever's priorities change. So. I was hoping we can get a grant, which sure help out, I think we want to get done, but looks like for this coming fiscal year, the grant's gonna be. It's not gonna be available for us. Correct. Any questions? All right, with that bit of good news, we're gonna move
All
on.
the stipulations on the grant, how much was it? And how do you qualify?
For a county our size, I didn't go too far into that. It's pretty, the wording on that's pretty black and white. For a county our size, the rate of population, it's $500,000, and that money is dedicated to the sheriff's office. It is for sheriff's office operations, it's for personnel and also equipment.
I got a copy of it.
Oh, you do?
If you want, I'll give you a copy.
What are the minimum requirements you gotta meet?
Sir,
What are the minimum requirements you have to meet for the grant?
the deputies pay, I think, required to, gonna be eligible for the grant, the deputies is gonna be at $45,000 a year. The sheriff's gonna be at $75,000 a year. That's the two qualifications I saw. So we probably look at it for the following fiscal year, this year, I think we're gonna be able to do it. We'll apply for it in January. There may be more to it now. I think administratively, the administrative side of this, the structure has to be done, with all it's still being formulated. By January, they should have the program set up. But we won't be able to apply for it. But we can't apply for it till January, and we apply within 20 days of the date of our fiscal year, we can't apply for this bill the following October. That makes sense. This will be October 23, we'll be able to apply for this grant, my understanding is still October 23.
We gave the controller until January to get the program put together and the rules out on it. Then we got that long period, what we're asking for.
Thomas said there's some that their fiscal year starts in January instead of October, so the ones that their fiscal year starts in January will be able to apply for it even when. But ours is until October, so it'll be October.
So then with that money we applied for it, when fiscal year came, we'd already be into that budget year. That money may arrive after the budget process is done, the budget. That makes sense. Where you see this? If we can't apply till October, our budget will be set. It will come after the budget set. Okay. Any other questions? All right. Moving on to jail budget. You shall have a chance to look over what's been prepared.
Sort of, yes.
Sort of, I understand.
I guess.
We've been a little busy also. There's some increases there. Melody worked with this thing pretty good bit. She did the budget report last year and did a pretty good bit of work on this. The biggest thing we're requesting all across the board over there is for salaries. Captain King with us this morning. I'll get him to elaborate a little bit where we're at on staffing, say, from the field back there. Captain, what do you see? You have 16 positions, full-time positions back there.
Yeah, 16 officer positions, currently we're down 5 positions, I've got 2 more planning to leave, one was live, one, we're both person live. Will be 7 positions short.
Right now, or will be.
Currently, we have 5 and I had one put in there 2 weeks, yesterday, I believe it was, and I've got another one that's, has applied for Tarrant County.
Are these correctional officers
Yes, sir.
you're talking about? Okay. So how many do you actually have working or have on
Presently,
Yeah.
I have 11,
that?
yes, sir. About to have 9, yes, sir.
It was holding on pretty good for a little while. What's created?
No. Things approved back there. I'm gonna give you statistics again. I gave it to you a while back. Give it to you one more time. I had them checked from May of 2021, May of 2022. We cycled 28 F5s were issued from the jail back there. And F5 is when you have a separation from nations. What he called the forms called F5. There were 28 F5s issued. 2 of those employees cycled through there twice. They came and left within that year, within the time period. So there were 26 employees, there were 28 F5s issued for that year. There was only 18 positions back there then.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, probably 18 positions. We cycled 28 F5s through the jail in a year. The attrition, lost turnover. So I had Stacy pull also the time period from May of 22, May of 21 to May of 22. Excuse me. The statistics I gave were May of 21 to May of 22. I had Stacy pull May of 22 to May of 23. I came there in May. Matt came to us in October. We got the $5,000 raise in October. We went from 28 F5s issued to there were 8 issued for May of 2023, with 28 8. the last few weeks, we've lost a few more people. One of them's terminated, the others
Just like.
getting noticed. Yeah.
2%.
So attrition turned, we slowed that down. We're doing better on holding on to people we got. I think the salary increase we got last year helped a lot. We're kind of at that point now, we're steady. Do you have any applications right now? So, yeah, we have no applications over there right now, kind of work for jail. So what I'm gonna ask for today is I'm talking to each one of you, the salary, these base salaries, these things, I've got we collected a few, everybody's collected some information, it's a pretty short read, I'm gonna give you its copies.
You mind? So how many total positions do you have for correctional? Are you hoping?
The top page for detention officers.
A lot of 16.
16. Okay.
This top page is detention officers, the second page is salaries for dispatchers, the third page is salaries for deputies. Yeah, really pull these numbers up this morning. And you can see on the bottom of each one of these, what she did was, this contiguous county around here to us. And then it gave an average salary at the bottom, of what these counties is paying. Our salary right now for detention officers, look at that first page. You see the average salary is $44,696 for the counties around us. And our detention officers right now make $38,055 a year. And that's current, and I will assure you that every one of these agencies will also be increasing their salaries. They gave $240,000 salary. And they give a 3% pay raise, that's $1,200. If they just give a 3% pay raise across the board, $40,000 salary, would be a $1,200 increase from where they're at now. How many days are they having to go without a day off at this point?
If we barring anybody in the hospital, getting called in for transport or something like that. Up to this point, 2 at most, everybody's on a mandatory overtime day right now.
One mandatory overtime day a week,
On the searching, and that's getting especially changed in the other.
and they're working 12-hour shifts.
Yes, sir.
And we're trying to sell top of the medical issues we got over there. We try to make sure it deals from a safe environment, safe as our employees and safe for the folks we have incarcerated. Medical calls over there. It seems like we have somebody in the hospital fairly regularly.
So when you say mandatory overtime, are they having to work an extra shift, 12-hour shift? Is that what each one is having to do?
Let me go back and touch on one thing too. I ran the numbers just back when they were making $33,000 a year, prior to last October, when I came to there. Our pitch on to make $33,000 a year. It's $14.76 an hour. The field, you go to the FTO, the field training. When a new employee comes, day one, they're put the jailer back there, and they're gathered in for 3 weeks.
120 hours.
It's a 3-week program. So what I'm figuring is on an 86-hour pay period every 2 weeks, plus 1.5 pay periods. Is $14.76 an hour times 128 hours is $1,889.28. Those people that came to us in 2021 and 2022, those 28 people that came through there and they did the FTO program, they completed for those 3 weeks, it's $1,889.28 a piece. You multiply that times 28, it's $52,899.84 was what was spent just on training. You get 2 people doing one job, they're shadowing somebody, just learning how to do the job. So 3 weeks we're paying them, to learn what's going on back there.
Say that again, how much does it cost you in training?
At $14.76 an hour, that's a $33,000 a year annual salary. The FTO is 3 weeks. So the pay period is 86 hours. So I figured 86 plus 43. It's 128 hours. 86 plus 43. $129. $1904.04 times 28 positions is 53,313. $53,313.12. I was off by 1 hour. Is everybody clear on that? So to do the FTO program for 28 people cycle through there, to train them and then lose them, the cost was $53,313.
That's how much per training?
Per employee was 1,800. $1904.04 per employee. $2,000 per employee. You multiply that times 28, that's the spend of 2020, May 2021 to May 2022, this on FTO. Now, if we send them to 3 weeks of jail school, which that's what the jail school is now, 15, we pay their tuition and send them over there, pay them to go to school. They got a year if they come to work. Day one, we can put them back there, once they pass the background check and do the interviews, we can put them to work back there, put them in uniform, put them to work. They shadow a license jailer to work. We have 1 year to get into jail school, get into the T code, get their basic jailer's license. If we send that school and then lose them afterwards, then you've got another 3 weeks. So you can double that number again. And let me reiterate, this was at the $33,000 a year salary, is what I'm figuring that. That's what we're spending before the 38,000. That's the salary they were making from May of 21 to May of 22. That's the numbers it was then, so it's escalated a pretty good bit. We've got some really good employees over there at the jail. We got the court group, jail captain, got a lot of experience. Came to us when we retired from Tarrant County and was working in Henderson County before he came up here. Lieutenant Silva's been with us for 9 years, I think. We have a court group of people over there, some really good employees that are really going to come to and try to get some more open. Salaries is going to be what we get there. You can see what the market is average for a detention on 44,696. And I can guarantee you that number's going to go up in October. Any questions on that? Okay, we'll move on down to this. And I don't know, but again, like we were last year, I really don't know what the multiplier is to use for the cost of food, to figure food and cost increase. They've gone pretty considerable. Where are we at right now on the budget for food from last this year?
How about 10% of the budget?
Wow, about 10% of the budget. Okay. We raised up. I forget what we raised
I
up.
don't remember what I raised it, what it should be.
You're 10% over already? Have you already done a budget amendment?
No, for this time of year,
I mean, just,
Oh,
for where she but should be.
Track it month to month right now. We're
Got you.
10% over.
okay.
We're going. I think we're going. We're okay. Me and her, Melanie does an exceptional job of keeping track of this. The operating budget from jail, their sheriff's office, both. A lot of money goes through there. She does a very good job of staying on top of this guy. We're okay. Just the cost of food, I mean, it's crazy.
I'm gonna ask you a dumb question.
Yes, sir.
And they're gonna people that think it's crazy. Do we plan on home garden or anything over there for that?
We've had one in the past. when you get staffing issues like we got now, one of the issues. The gardener use actually go on the city property, they allow them to use.
Okay, and the second question is. Why can't we just go buy a calf or two and slaughter it and say you maybe rules, I don't know. And. I mean, we would save so, I mean, I've done it for me personally, it saves so much money. Just to go slaughter a calf or a hog or a lamb or whatever they're gonna eat. And have our own meat instead of going out and buying it with that services. Have we ever thought about doing that?
I hadn't got to that point yet, but we can certainly look into it.
Because I mean, it may not save you much on one or two, but you all gonna eat, we may have to kill, 20 calves a year.
We're not feeding
You,
beef.
you gotta have somebody that knows how to do that first.
What do you mean?
Well, who out there at the jail can do that? Who can slaughter, cut?
No, I'm not saying we're slaughtering it, we can go have it slaughtered. And then we take the meat, like if, Virgil, you got calves, you take a calf to the locker plant, they kill it for you, and it goes in your freezer.
Okay,
I'm not saying we kill it and butcher it, no, we're not qualified for that. I'm saying we can raise it and feed it, and, or we can just go to sell one and buy one and have it, slaughtered. And that would save money, especially on meat, the way meat prices are going. And I don't know how much, but you take it through the year, I bet it'd increase substantial.
you'd have to have a place to store it too.
Yes, we have to have a
Yeah,
place to
so
store it.
there's a lot
Yeah,
of-
it's stored now, no, where we store it now. I mean.
You don't store that large.
Yeah,
item.
you don't have bulk storage right now.
Even our walk-in freezer. It's got. Big as it doesn't matter.
Probably 10 by 20.
Yeah, they dig this area right here.
Well, I know my house, I just got a standard lay down freezer, and it puts a full cap in there.
Yes,
I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper to go buy a freezer than to keep on, paying the premium process from wherever we're getting it from the contract services.
it is.
That's an idea, I mean, it may be crazy, but
Well, Brandon, when you do that, your hamburger meat that you have done processed is about the same as you buy in the grocery store. Where you make your money on getting your beef processed is your higher cuts. We're not buying higher cuts out there. If we're buying any beef, we should only be buying hamburger meat. They're not buying steaks and
right,
stuff out there.
but it's, I bet if you put the numbers to it, it'd be cheaper.
Well, I've done it.
And so have I.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
And I save money on, I save money on steaks and my briskets and the stuff that cost you a lot of money in the store. But what I pay is the same that I buy that stuff for what I buy hamburger meat for. So and that's all we're buying out there is hamburger meat. So, yes, sir, if we were feeding steaks, I'm with you 100%.
That's just a thought.
If we are feeding steaks, we need to talk about that.
And one of the issues too with the garden is they had a garden when I got there. You see the staffing issues, we can't just turn them out over there, you gotta have somebody with them, we have to pay somebody to be with them and watch them. And we're having a hard enough time keeping manpower, just to keep the staff on the staff. So,
Well, I'm just trying to think outside the box.
no,
Sure.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, we've had gardens and they've not, and we've had drought. All the garden died, and
yeah,
Yeah, water.
and we're also open for suggestions. Great, yeah.
you see the water bill out there, Chuck.
That garden you have is too small to really be efficient for the purpose of feeding the jail.
To do on the volume you need to, by the time the cost put in there, you can probably go buy tomatoes and onions, potatoes. Probably go buy a little cheaper than what we look true cost of 100.
I'm just wondering, are you all allowed to take, like, Walmart donates food to banks out here, food banks and stuff?
Sometimes we do get donations over there, yes. Yes,
We had a couple this year actually. So we had a fresh produce sent in last week, it's squash.
Oh, good. So you do, that's great. Yeah.
Joe, you can go over every line item. I don't have a problem with any line you've got. My only question would be, on your capital, you've got $70,000 down for equipment. And you didn't specify what it's for, and it's a whole lot less than what you had down for last year for equipment.
That was on there for last year. That was where we had to take that 150,000 and transfer it in there to buy the water heaters that had gone.
Okay.
So that wasn't in our original budget.
Well, no, water repairs also, but
Those is our repair.
So,
Or maybe it was the door repairs. There was some, I know there was a big amount that got
they
transferred.
would get all the stuff, the control panels for control the locks.
so
That's
is,
already in the works. They did the work, I think, after October 1st. That's like 168,000.
That was 68.
so the 70,000 is so just for whatever comes up. Gotcha, okay. It's not a particular thing
No.
that you, okay,
Yeah.
thank you, that's
That
all.
makes sense.
Yes, sir, totally.
Do you see how far out of line it is with the previous years? There's a right of it. We went from 44,000, 18,000, 25,000, over 230,000.
Yes, sir, that's,
Okay.
the other guys may want you to go over it line by line, but that's, things are going up. To me, you're right in line with your increases.
Like inmate medical and in the food costs were the only two things not really.
Yes, ma'am.
Any more questions on this? Before we get off this topic,
Well, this topic being
jail.
jail, okay?
Before we get on this topic, I know we're not here for today. Again, I'm not doing my due diligence over in a position that I got appointed into. If I don't tell you who that own that facility. We got one gentleman over Matt. Let's go here for a minute, please.
You know, we got some mental health issues there in the jail, severe, we got, one, Ricky Daniels. Already been there substantial time, probably at least a year, he's on the list to the state hospital. Because of his crime, he's got to go to one of the five, I don't know, there in that. He's number 734 on the list, anticipation is to be in jail for another 12 years before he gets that bed. That's the kind of stuff that we're looking at.
Now, we have a contract with our mental health authority to go out there and give them meds to see if they can get them.
He's taking medicine.
And they still,
He's still in the corner, he activates, he does the whole thing, you know. He doesn't communicate well, and say anything to him and said yes. That's it. And he's gone.
so it's just, there's no chance of him being restored through his medication right now.
Not with us. That's it.
It's in fact more intense program where it gets where. And unfortunately for him. There's no way to help him if they does.
Things gonna get worse.
Yeah.
We had one yesterday, the psychologist said that they can't do anything more for him. Recommended an aggressive treatment. I felt sheriff on that last night. See if we maybe get him a PR bond, get him somewhere where he can be helped.
What's he charged with?
Sir,
What's he charged with?
I think it was burglary habitation. Correct.
Rehabilitation, criminal trespass. Yeah, that's.
And the DA's office, this is every week. We're work with them, some we can let out, some we can't. We're just trying to work it, maintain the jail safe and clean over there, those inmates.
Sometimes these inmates spend more time in jail than what they would be sentenced for.
Yes,
You know, it's just ridiculous, you know.
but we're responsible.
Oh, I understand, but it's,
Keep them.
we got a mental health problem in the
It's
state.
huge. Yeah, in the country.
Well, you want to talk about the one that has cancer?
The one that had cancer, we PR bonded him out last week.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir. He passed away day before yesterday. We still have his son there in our field. We PR bonded him out. His family came and got him, carried him to Sherman. I think he went to ICU the next day, after we PR lined him out. We hospital that area, PR lined out, they carried him up there, he went back into ICU last week, and passed away. The medical expense is expensive.
Hasn't hit these numbers yet.
And you have to understand, some of these bills come in, we're still getting bills back in 21 with Southern Health Partners. Some of the bills, by the time they go through all the things, we're getting bills back prior to medium.
I've got one sitting on my desk that they emailed me, because they have permission to pay it, it's over $5,000. And this one, this guy had uncontrollable seizures, which in the hospital, he was there for 3 days, and it was over $30,000.
And that's before all the adjustments, right?
No, that's after
That's
adjustment.
after the adjustments.
We know about it. There's not a thing we can do about it. I mean, not a thing you can do about it. We're stuck with it. Our governor's too worried about property tax and his mental health.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
But the people besides us and the ones that are looking on. You look at expenses and they seem astronomical, but when you go there, you see what we're mandating, what we have to do, what we're required to do. What we're liable for, well, we're gonna do everything we can, to make sure that the jail run. As well as we run, especially as we run, and also so that we run also.
Doesn't make your job any easier, does it?
A lot. It's, we just got to run the facility. That's thing I can do. We exceeded the capacity. We're doing the best. We're coming up short on a lot of things. I can look at everybody now and I realize I can also look at and I tell you, we're doing the best we can do what we got. We just need to get more people, we need salaries up. Where I can retain people that are paying the fair market wages that we got. And try to make this career people that's in the stepping stone to go somewhere else. Where they come over here and stay with us, they can make a career out of this.
Joe, do you have any applicants now for deputies?
Or no, that's one of the sheriff. You ready to move the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Gentlemen, thank you for time on that.
We'll get there. I think there's a tab that I could go to take me right to it.
Before we move to that, one more question. Did you add any employees did you ask to add any employees at the jail?
I had asked to, whatever we were doing, the animal control and the, case manager, we moved that last salary money over and gave it the 2 positions in the jail to be able to create those positions on the sheriff's office side. So we asked for those 2 positions back in the jail. That way you can have 5 on duty at a time instead of 4, but this 4 was a real big struggle going back there.
But it was 2. They had 16 total, I'll make it 18 now. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm asking for 20 total, because I showed that we had 18, and that gave those 2.
You got 8, you have 18 now,
Yes,
not including your cook, not that.
or the sergeants.
Right.
Right. So we asked for those 2 positions back, and then an extra cook, we can kind of elaborate on.
And the extra cook is for the breakfast position. These inmates, right, as it stands right now, they're not supervised. Officer has to walk by here every 20 minutes to look in there and sign off what we're doing, but other than that. We put a lot of faith in these inmates to do the right thing back there. That's Usually that's why I asked if we no also in that kitchen.
And they're also on camera back there, but it's you're feeding 144 beds, feeding probably on average about 135 a day, just feeding 3 square meals a day. 2 of them are hot meals, correct?
Yes, sir.
And sandwiches in the evening.
You require that cook to be an,
Correction.
Correctional.
Okay.
thank you.
You know, those inmates that prepare the food, they eat pretty good, don't they? I mean, you know, you can't. You know, but they kind of eat what they want to eat.
Part of the freight out.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
That
right.
Kitchen's a busy place.
Yes.
What time is program at 4:30?
You get fat working in the kitchen.
They come out 1 o'clock in the morning, eat breakfast by 4:30.
Yeah,
And that goes on all through the day, so if they serve one, they pick it back up, feed it up, and start preparing the next, serving, feed it back up, prepare the next, serve, feed it back up.
yeah.
It's that's it, it's place. How many, these go each and every work out there at a time? 6, 7, we run about 8. 8 is it? All right, anything else on the jail side?
No, sir.
Okay, if you'll flip on through there, you'll see the next 2 pages on the handout I gave you. I'm gonna emphasize salary again. Is you'll see the breakdown for the contiguous counties around here. One is for dispatchers and the one is for deputies. And you can see what the average salary is right up here from the starting salary for dispatchers and starting salary for deputies. What our dispatchers currently make 37.
3705.
3705. The dispatcher average for this area is about 44.9 currently. Again, that'll go up, I anticipate in October. Sheriff deputy for this area is 54,344. We pay our deputies 43,900 a year on base salary. And while we're on this topic, also, those administrative employees over there, we had no numbers for them, they're a good bit below market value too. I know y'all looked at other administrative employees, the clerk titles, their job descriptions. Form similar task with these other employees do county administrative tasks. So that's where our big increase in requests going to come from, this on that salary.
So like for your deputies, where do you lose them most to? Where you lose them everywhere?
We've lost deputies to on this list. We've lost them. I guess we've lost deputies at one point or another here in the last few years. Every agency on that list.
Yeah.
You think about it, that's lost them too.
I don't know of anybody that took the Hopkins here or raised. But the other agencies.
Yeah, we've had some go to Wayne County instead of here.
Yeah.
There's not a pattern like, man, this department is just killing us. This is kind of across the board.
There for a while, Rockwall was killing us. That's been several years ago.
I can see
Rockwall. In the end, I think we went through a little span where Henderson County was taking several.
Henderson County needs deputies now. They're in the same position we are. You can't, nobody wants to be a police officer.
Nobody wants.
I can't really blame them, you know?
No,
You make one mistake, you go to the pen.
yes. And then on top of that, if you want to remain to be police officers, if you could go down the road 20 or 30 miles and make $15,000 or $20,000 a year more money. It's pretty much a temptation to go over there.
I would wager to say every one of these counties are shorthanded.
Yeah.
Yes, so they all fall.
Rockwall, they're the only ones I found whenever I was going through looking for the jailer salaries and stuff, that didn't have those two positions.
But you look at Kaufman County also, they had it, you get 5 years, 10,000. This has got them on the list at 55. And they're actually at 65, they have 5 years experience, and they're gonna go up again in October.
But if we can get it up with everybody, not Buckwall. Then everybody's gonna be in the same boat. They're not gonna be able to go here because I'm making the same here as I am here.
But I
Right.
can assure you.
No, they're fixing to increase too.
Well, yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that's your it's like this, it comes here and stay static. When October 1st comes through, I'm gonna get pay increases, but there's some really good officers that live in this county. They go to work somewhere else. They leave our county, and go to work somewhere else that pays more money. I want to keep the people I got over there. We've got some really good deputies working for us.
But if we're comparable with the counties around us, there's no incentive to leave because of no gain.
I want to keep it here.
Exactly.
And the ones, maybe 1 or 2 of them that are going somewhere else to work, it's just not worth driving over there. Right. You get the point, it's just not worth driving over there, giving that extra 30 minutes an hour, it's way you're out of the
They go to Rockwall and. They'll be it, I mean, can't blame them. They've got out there. But everybody else, like, I don't need to go to Henderson County, I'm doing the same here.
But what we gotta compete with is these PDs.
And we're
That are
not,
within-
we'll be in line with those PDs, I think. I think we'll be in line with everybody if we get it right.
And with this, we manned 2 deputies per shift. We've had to pull deputies out of CID, we've had to pull deputies out of command staff to cover patrol on and off since October. I'll come in, only tell you the same thing, I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, they work 6 A to 6 P or 6 P to 6 A or 12-hour shifts in the office 6 o'clock. And I come in and say at 8 o'clock in the morning, and the guys there for the night shift are still sitting there at 8 o'clock the next morning working on reports, computers, they've been up online. Still sitting there 2 hours later, they're 14 hours into their shift. And still working on reports. And they have now 10 hours to get home, get something to eat, clean your clothes, get some sleep, they get it back in place in 10 hours. They're back in place, ready to roll in 10 hours. And they're still sitting there computers, that's morning and evening. I come over in the evenings, the day shift people still sitting there at 7 or 8 o'clock, working on reports, pretty common. We've got that 3rd shift for each one of our shifts. And we haven't been able to fill this, so I've been there, you know, before that, you know, sure.
I don't remember the last time that we actually heard a person.
We've got the position, we've got the full-time position, we've got the salary, we keep fill the spot. We're doing good right now, we're at 7 patrol deputies
Yes, with one in FTO.
and 1 FTO. 8's the minimum number, put 2 per shift. And if nobody's on vacation or anything else major happens.
What do you have currently budgeted, count the number of patrol deputies?
There's currently, there's.
10. Not including your civil, your deputies.
Yeah, there was 10 deputy spots and 4 patrol sergeants. And that's one of the things that we're looking to change up a little bit is to drop it down to 2 patrol sergeants. And those other 2 patrol sergeant spots was all them into, or realign them into their positions.
Or you effectively not changing headcount, you're just changing positions, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Are you gonna work your sergeants 12A, 12P or something to cover both shifts?
They would work 12 P to, or noon to midnight, yeah. They work a swing shift on each side, and then that way, if one of their guys was out, then they would be able to pick up the shift day or night to cover it. If need be. Several years ago, that was the setup that we had, and it seemed to work out pretty well.
So if y'all are fully staffed. You'd be able to have patrols on the streets all the time, multiple, a lot better shape than we are now. A lot better shape.
There's no proactive policing, there's no patrolling,
Right.
it's, they're pretty much going to
Call.
Yes,
If we were fully staffed, we may have more proactive. Maybe on a lot of calls.
maybe we could get to the point where we're not having 72 hours of finish reports, right, it's getting day, this is downside, because their call load is astronomical.
And you
We
probably
lost,
add,
we lost deputies, he look all the star performers, a lot of police departments, he includes some of the chiefs, even here in Canton. They all cycle through the sheriff's office one point or another. Canton Police Department's probably got 3 to 4 officers on today, some of the other week, they have 3 to 4 officers on. And I'll assure you, our deputies probably answer more calls an hour, a lot of times, because police officers get
Oh, yeah.
today.
and how much overtime you got with all that going on,
A bunch.
a bunch.
Jake cycled over to DP, Canton, didn't you?
Sorry,
Jake?
Jake Smith,
Yeah.
yes. Sir. Yeah, he was one of the investigators, good, yeah, and one of the CID investigators, then less, a little bit of work, it's also Joe, that's very capable. Chief Allison, Steve Hall, there's several of them. Yes,
How many positions have you asked to add in the sheriff's office?
on the sheriff's office side,
Oh, yeah.
on the sheriff's office side, we've asked to add 3 new positions. In dispatch for one child crimes. Thursday morning, Friday morning, about 3:30, 3:45, dispatch called me. I got up and addressed that over there, went to dispatch, see what they had. When the storm came through. Holly got in there, they had 3 dispatchers in place. I stayed with them for a little bit and went out for a check on residents. And I don't know what time they caught their calls, and to give me an idea. They were backlogged or having to take notes on paper and go back in and do some of those calls. Calls are backed up. They were still holding calls up till noon time, I guess. They were still doing that till about 11 o'clock. Still checking on the calls that we got through the day, through the morning. Those times we need that. We've got the third constable there, we can use the third dispatcher.
What are your peak hours in there?
Peak hours, I'm gonna say probably, my estimate would be on, there are gonna be times when people are out. The peak hour calls are gonna be daytime, that's the biggest call of. It's gonna be 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, probably about 7 o'clock.
What we were looking at for these 2 dispatch positions is doing a swing shift on A shift and a swing shift on B shift, because that too will help them there with. Like, they can't take vacation time unless they can find somebody else that's gonna have to cover and put in overtime to cover their vacation. If they call in sick, somebody has to, cover them because they're bare minimum staff. If you have a swing shift on each side, that can alleviate, this one's able to take a vacation, so we got this swing shift that we can move today or not if we need to cover for anybody that's out. My opinion on it is that, adding those 2 dispatchers, what we're spending in their salaries, we're saving in overtime for the other dispatchers that are having to work to cover everybody else.
Yeah, if you're over budget and overtime for this year, you gone over. But I get it, I mean, I don't want. If you get full staff, that overtime,
Correct.
It should take off, so
you what?
it should take off. And not have a lot, not have these all out here pulling 12, 13, or pulling 13, 14 days.
I was still got a whole lot.
There are a lot of times during the day when you can't get through the dispatch, they're just swamped.
You're correct. It just call volume again, not just servicing the 60 some odd thousand residents we should have in this county. We're also servicing all those people that come up down Interstate 20, down Highway 80, Highway 64, Highway 19. course, it's close to a huge metropolitan area, being an hour outside of here. There's a lot of people that pass through here. A lot of them come through here with no issues. A lot of them come through here, there's road rage. Somebody has a heart attack, gets feeling sick out here in the interstate. People meet up out here, you see along the interstate, different places here in town, they do kid slots. I know with the best excuse out here, things happen. Issues along the truck stops, all the different grocery stores, convenience stores, looks like people pulling in fuel. Accidents constant. The times now, DPS from Houston and going down having to work for officers, having to work the border, will literally not have troop roll calls here. We'll have to call somebody out in neighboring county to come in.
You think if you're fully staffed, there'd be, thinking of income now, I guess more citations? We get more citations.
I mean, it would be a possibility, they would be able to be more proactive than they are now. Right now, they're just running calls.
Right.
Yeah. What, you really never issued tickets because you don't have radar capabilities or anything like that.
They issue citations.
I've got one.
Well, okay.
We have 2 handheld radars.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah.
That it was the sergeants
Yeah.
that had the radars, but I mean, there's other traffic violations they can stop for other than speeding. And issue citations for, and that's usually what they use for, their stops.
But we also discovered we could do citations if we had a printer in vehicles.
That was something I was gonna bring up today as well.
Okay, is that part of the capital?
Well,
Purchase.
Scott, I had looked into them and I had a printout on my desk and he came in and he saw it. The printers for the tickets are about $800 a piece. The ones that go in the cars. Right now, we're still doing very old school handwriting and judges are complaining they can't read the officer writings on the tickets and. So anyway. Scott. Asked me when we come here today to talk about our budget, we would have bring up the printers and ask you to put money in his budget so it can come out of IT for those printers. So there you go.
It was supposed to got pricing for those.
They're about $800 a piece and we'll need, I would like to be able to put one in each deputy's patrol vehicle. And the patrol lieutenant, so that would put us at 15.
Well, I would hope we can get you where you want, but if you're fully staffed, I'd also hope that we could get a return also for doing that, if that makes any sense.
Right,
I mean, you ain't gonna pay for it, but it'll get some of it back.
yeah.
I learned when I was a patrol officer in South Dallas, don't ever give a ticket to somebody that's eating fried chicken. I learned that the hard way. I got the ticket book back and it was greasy and the grease had soaked through every ticket that I had in that ticket book.
That's one of the issues.
That was some good chicken.
Yeah, Henderson honey fried chicken.
Yeah.
Still there.
Close to lunchtime, we'll be talking about chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. That's,
Or just getting out here on a hot day. And taking this up the road, trying to ride citation.
right.
Works game on the water, little sweat's pouring off your hands, you could buy tickets and get soaked while you're really riding the ticket, so. It makes it expedient, something like that. Also looked at adding a child's crime investigator. Kind of populated. We came in Monday morning. And Tuesday morning, yeah, all that Monday, came in Tuesday morning, and our investigators were headed over to the MUT meeting, CAT. That's a multidisciplinary team with the Child Advocacy Center. These are on allegations of sexual abuse, sexual assault of children. That day, after the MUT meeting, they had 3 forensic interviews who were children who are on physical abuse, one on sexual abuse. And then they found out license, took out all the equipment over there at the CAD. So they had to rearrange those. In the meantime, they're catching more cases. There's going to be cases becoming pretty regular. And we see one more CID investigator on dedicated full time over here to and They won't be doing this alone. The volume of cases, they'll have to have assistance from others, yeah, you investigate. But get somebody special trained, because that's kind of special on itself. With this being done. And, you know, yeah, the investigator would look at that. Any questions on that? You just talked about this, sorry.
Correct.
Okay. And realigning, we changed titles on the CID investigators.
Yes, no, we haven't talked about
Looking at moving, then designated sergeants, so if you look at this, our titles. You look across there, we have a lot of command staff, the way the current structure is. There's numerous sergeants. Look at those, the officers, the deputies that come over and work for our CID is to change their position, the salary won't change. But putting them from a sergeant position into an investigator position, same salary as a sergeant. But while they're working over CID, they'd be designated as investigator. Also, we gave our lieutenant over CID position. We gave it, used it for the current rated position that Joe Madison's in. We want to be able to retain that position also, or it's freed up its own office, is to get that CID lieutenant position back. It's on the current budget, we'll be able to keep it on there plus the position. Any questions? Anything on that? All right.
Is there a line item now? Yes, there is, certificate pay. Let's check and see. Yep, it's there.
Yes. Then the two other variables, I don't know what the multiplier is to use on those. One of them is going to be for fuel. Fuel.
Yeah, last year, I think I had 150,000 in the budget and I went over budget, so I doubled it because the price of fuel was going, you know, through the roof. And right now with the 300,000 that I have in the budget for fuel, I'm going to be good with it. So I didn't change the price on the.
It only shows you spent 65,000 this year.
Right, I'm still in good shape on the fuel, so I didn't increase the fuel budget.
Well, it doesn't look like you need to keep it at 300,000 either.
They're at 69% remaining right now, 27%. We only have.
Well, that also means depends on if we can get more deputies too, we're gonna have more cars.
Right.
Run that over one more time, Cindy.
Right now, you should have this, you should have 27% remaining spend.
Yes, ma'am.
That's 16 remaining.
Okay.
But I only have half of the people,
Yeah, I
like
have
you
to keep
said,
it.
running, that should be running.
Probably half the patrol deputies that you know. On
That's a fully staffed, is that a fully staffed number?
The 300,000?
Yeah.
That would be pretty close to it. I went up I went up a little bit on the automotive maintenance because those Explorers that we have. They only had a 60,000 mile drivetrain warranty on, so they're all basically glad warranty. And while they were under warranty, they spent most of their life in the shop, so we're gonna end up having to put a lot of money into those. The Tahoes that we have remaining.
You're also need to think about what happened last year, when your shirt auto purchases.
Right,
I didn't get the cars.
I'll get to that part of it here in just a second, but.
so how many vehicles do you currently have?
Use 28
That 28, that's for the whole,
transport courthouse.
yeah,
Okay. So, and that is, are those vehicles for the unfilled positions too?
yes.
Okay, so you got,
I got like, I got 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, right now, I think I've got 5 extra vehicles that nobody's driving. Well,
But
let's go down the shop.
and one thing to that is those vehicles, there's constant issues. As go along, usually operate them under plus. These Ford are all-wheel drive and just it wasn't unusual to be saying 30,000 miles on them. Their transmissions will go out, overheating, different things, so that it goes down, we have to give the deputies keys, literally. I think, I guess we did that before, day before yesterday. When the deputies had to go to Coffin County, police air conditioner, what you could, prisoner over there, I think we have a search warrant, or no, they were going. Yeah, it was great. And I think he tried 2 more vehicles before he found one that would get started. So it's a constant turnover. That takes a good part of her days, getting the fleet up and running, it's just wear and tear, fuel vehicles.
All the warranties run out on these vehicles.
The ones on the Tahoes, found out the hard way that the warranty was expired within my time.
Oh, yeah.
The last transmission had to put in his. I was all excited because he only had 98,000 miles and it must have had 2,000 miles left on the warranty, but it expired by time by like 2 weeks. Whatever was
Literally.
shot.
2 weeks outside.
These Explorers, like I said, they have a 60,000 mile powertrain warranty where GM had 100,000. And these Explorers are already getting up there around the 60,000 mile mark.
Many cars you anticipate purchasing before this budget's up?
I have 5 ordered. And they were set to start build. I ordered them in May of last year. They were supposed to start build on June 19th of this year.
What did you order?
I'm sorry.
What did you order?
5.
So they got the 100,000 mile warranty.
I'll never do Explorers.
Do we get extended warranties on them? Or just
We probably could. I don't know what, in reality, what I would like to do is. Yeah, right now it's hard to get vehicles, period. I've been waiting over a year for them to even build the ones that I ordered last year. What I would like to do is before them Explorers got too many more miles on them, is try to, sell one and use that money toward buying a new Tahoe.
are we keeping them? I know I had this problem at the barn. Are y'all keeping them serviced up and
Yes.
oil change and all that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They were doing a lot of repairs in Sally Port. I don't think it's a very good idea. Those things repaired near these vehicles are getting more complicated as time goes on. You can't, if you tear one up, lose one of them. You can't just go out and there's not, it's readily available. You can't get another like even 2 years ago. You just go get another vehicle. They're not there. That's why we're trying to keep the same service. And take care of them. We're gonna use them, use the patrol vehicles to run hard to you run. I want the same service taken care of. I want to say last as long as we can still get into the vehicle. We have the money. The vehicles just aren't there, and the cost of vehicles has gone up astronomically. What the last 5 years, they've almost gone up 40%. I won't say they doubled in price,
But
they're
that doggone year, they're 40% at least, yeah.
more than were 5 years ago. It's, I looked at what the cost is for replacement cost of vehicles, it's astronomical.
This is important to take care of. I've been 2 weeks without, 2 weeks in the barn. Oil changing and greasing all them vehicles. I've never been done before at my barn.
No, it's a shit, but that's one thing all Christian does, among other things is. Keep tracking his vehicles on all changes, service and try to keep up right. These roads just get. They get used. It's not unusual for these deputies to run 3, sometimes maybe 500 miles in a shift. I can get the calculator and sit the figure, but yeah.
Hopefully we can reduce that. We get fully staffed. And it might reduce some of this.
Yes,
So
so
it's hard wear and tear on the people and vehicles, what we're doing. I have nothing good thing to say about the folks we got working for us. They got a lot of heart, they like working here, and they do the best they can do.
so the 5 vehicles you have on orders with 488,000. is budgeted for this year, correct?
Yes, sir, I don't think there's, yeah, what's left in there right now, what we started to get. One,
Well, 57, yeah, so there's 57 that's been taken out.
37, yeah, because we rolled last year's,
Right.
what I had left, because the vehicles out of order hadn't come in, and so we rolled that money into this year's budget, so that's how we came up with the 488.
So what, the 300,000, what is that?
That's
how
to
many-
order more vehicles, the order banks open up, I think, in July, where I can start ordering more Tahoes.
Mhm.
Like I said, these Explorers, they're not gonna hold it.
So how many do you anticipate with 300,000?
With 300,000, I'm hoping to be able to
Three.
purchase at least.
I mean, I'm sorry, I just, you know, it is crazy.
You'll be able to get four.
Yeah.
They're about 70 grand. That's actually our cost. I think it's cheaper for they're.
Well, we have to wait.
And that's not just the vehicle, yes, that we're talking about all the emergency equipment, radios, cameras.
Yeah, so that would be, that would be at
It's
least.
ridiculous, isn't it?
That's right.
It is.
But I would like to ask, because like I said, these are set to build, the ones that I ordered from last year are set to start build on June 19th. To my knowledge, that is still a go, but just in case they don't get my Tahoes to me before we get to the next budget year, I'd like to be able to roll that money into this year too, or into next year's budget too. Because those, I mean, I've got that, I'm gonna get those,
You say you got a build date of this month, right?
I'm sorry,
You have a build date of this month?
yes, it's Monday.
Okay.
That they were supposed to start building.
I'm just wondering if we need to budget for another, 5 for the next budget, since we're looking at a year out before we'll probably see them.
That
The
would be
way
great.
they're going.
And I'd like to turn these vehicles a little quicker we do. If we got 28 vehicles and we're buying 5 vehicles a year, so we're returning these vehicles back over 5 years. Getting
Plus you have wrecks ones that are sold out and can't be
And we
reused.
had
We're
one,
not,
I know we had one vehicle that involved an accident, sold out. There again, you can't still get on the vehicle, we have the money, you just can't go get it. You gotta plan ahead to get the ordering for it. And yeah, if we could, that'd be great.
but I think you should. The question is, how much per vehicle are you gonna budget for? That's the question. Yeah. The 5 that are on order, what are they? Do you know what they're per vehicle?
I don't,
They can't get the price.
they can't give us the price on them until our dealer can't give us. the price
So
on
it's
them.
not a guaranteed set price when we enter the contract, it's whatever's current when it comes out.
Correct. Now, I do have the option of not taking them whenever they come in, but. I mean, right now, it's kind of cool, you don't take what they've got because you're not gonna get anything.
Are those going into that one, that can go to line?
Yes. They're from, Fairland. Is it Fairland? We're live.
Just a basic police package vehicle. Was a Tahoe or a pickup truck. Without radio, emergency lights and those things, it's gonna run about around 50,000. Maybe a little over 50, 51. And that's a classic 4 max, we're not talking about trimmed out heavy of the vehicle, we're talking about the police package, which is a transmission cooler, heavy radiator, it has 2 batteries on it. A little bit different tires, they're ready to run a little faster, but it's not some high tripped out vehicle, just the base price of the vehicle will be about 50,000 more.
And then another 15 for equipment or more?
Looking at a minimum of 15 for equipment, when I sent for a quote from, now that this could be the lights and stuff. This is not, this isn't counting purchasing the camera or purchasing the radio. This is just the lights, and they'll wire it for the camera and wire it for the radio, but it's not the actual equipment, it's 15,000. Then you're looking, whenever you get into the radio, I don't know what price you're looking at for a radio now.
Get them up around 7 for one, if it's the hour.
And with the cameras, you're looking at somewhere around 10.
but that's an in-car camera that's stolen from the front. Like you see dash cam, which suits, but also cameras inside. They report inside, they're in the back seat.
But I think we need to go with at least 5. Just to place what ones we have go down.
I'm good with that. I shouldn't give y'all sticker
Yeah.
shock whenever I say about the 500 in there.
You start to look at it and see, I might probably say turn the vehicles a little quicker, because we're a little over 5 years now to turn them. And so vehicles, it's pretty hard to get some miles on it.
The Tahoes that we have right now, they're running an average of about 165,000 miles.
So what's the average for you annually that we put on?
Oh,
It's 170,000.
I'd say they probably do at least 30 to 40,000 miles a year.
And do we have a set policy, a set amount of time or mileage where we retire them?
We run it till we don't run nothing.
We still have Crown Vics in the fleet till, I think what, this year?
I've still got one that's out there
That's
that
what they said,
needs to go.
and they quit building those vehicles in 2013 or
11 or 12. I think.
2012. It's been repaired multiple times over those Crown Vics. So they won't make a vehicle like that again, those were good control cars.
Yeah, it's good they don't make it anymore. When things work out.
It's been pieced back together several times to keep on. Oh, back positions also with animal control. As soon as we get that position approved by y'all, we will also have a contract to work your animals. We're gonna go on and try to get that position, go up there in this budget year. The position's there, the salary's there, we're going to try to get a feel of the vehicle for that. And see if we can take some of the load on difference also, some of the animal calls.
Are you gonna use an existing vehicle or
That's what we're gonna look at. See what we can do.
gonna talk about trying to get a confiscated vehicle?
That's one of the options Curry brought up. Also, we looked, see what vehicle we just bought. Not police package vehicle, we just bought a regular pickup truck, sell a lot,
Mhm.
and see what it would cost.
I think we're looking at the low to mid 40s, by just work.
We do it also together have. Probably slide in and out, kennels, double kennels, slide in the back. Then catch pole and stairs, so it quickly let's have them in front.
Is that in the budget? Now,
If we do that, no,
okay,
we just have to take out what we got now.
no, you're gonna have it.
I want to try to get
This year.
want to get this going
Okay.
for this budget year's out. The case manager's probably has more, we've done interviews on that and, I don't think any more action.
We'll make a decision on it next week.
Salaries, vehicle and fuel.
In jail.
So, are we in agreement that we're gonna up this to 370, say? 350 to 370? Because that was 4
If
vehicles.
y'all be agreeable to that, yes,
I think
we
we
should ask
should.
for more. We're trying to stay somewhat, I know y'all got your constraints, we can operate under.
Well, I think if you're going to be able to fill those other positions, you're gonna be in the need for that by a year from now.
If we fill them today, we need to squeeze on vehicles, we can make it work. If somebody's vehicle goes down, we're gonna double people. up.
Right, that's why I
Let's go
say,
back and square one where we're at before. Yeah. We're gonna have more vehicles.
What, how? The court allowed, to buy this vehicle the other day, but you're not, how you gonna buy a vehicle if it takes a year to get it? On the one that you said that Mr. Maddox took one with him, you gotta have one for the new position.
The Tahoe's SUVs are going into production now. There are pickups out there available. We may have got a pickup, there's a couple options on pickups we're looking at. The trucks come in a little bit less than Tahoe's do,
They're about the same.
about the same price.
This new job, is it not still under the sheriff's office? This, what's it called?
Animal control.
No, the radio.
Oh, radio.
And right now, it's under the sheriff's office. There is a section in the budget for us to talk about with moving that position out.
To be moving it?
Yes,
yeah.
it's in here to talk about during the budget process. It's not in this budget, the sheriff's here.
So if it's not gonna be under the sheriff's department, why are we giving a car to that position?
Position has to have a vehicle anyway, and the sheriff offered to go ahead and let him take that one with him.
Why does it have to have a position? Why does it have to have a car?
You gotta be able to go to tower sides, oversee as everything's been built out and maintained and upkept, so they'll have to be able to travel. It's either that or pay a lot of mileage. So
And what's he going to sites for?
But his car is all equipped with all the patrol officer equipment, correct? Does it need to be in
It
there?
doesn't have a camera.
Doesn't have a camera, has all the radio, well, they don't need the radio, but
Radio lines.
But he won't need that. He won't need all that stuff.
most
The public, the radio person won't need all the lights and everything. Correct.
You gonna be a 40-hour report or 86?
Well, is he gonna be a police officer or is he gonna be a radio person? That's what I'm just asking. I don't know yet.
We got to talk about that.
yeah, we gotta work
Because
on that.
I'm, well, when we get there, we'll talk about it.
But it'll be a civilian position on the radio.
Do what?
It'll actually be a civilian position. I think the sheriff talked about maybe letting him stay on as a reserve. But,
He can reserve all these being paid by the county. He can reserve and even go on call for these being paid for the position instead of he's gonna be paid. And he'd be a reserve.
One more time.
He can be a reserve when he's off work.
Okay.
Oh, they won't carry being go on call, but not during his working time for the county. He could not go to a call.
it's actually gonna be a salary position where we're looking at it. But just due to the volume of work with the and call outs and stuff like that, cause he'll become the guy when something's wrong with radio, that's who you call.
Do what?
He'll be, that position will become the guy when something happens to the radio system, that's who you call. He oversees everything that goes on with it.
I understand that, but he won't need a police car.
Not necessarily, as long as he has a vehicle. Is this car an actual police package or was it just a regular Tahoe y'all put lights on?
I believe that one was the voice package.
You don't need a police package.
It's awful nice on the inside of our police package.
They trim some of those things up pretty decent. I can check on. We can look at any car for Taurus.
Well, and it may be better off to move to the cars that are not holding up under patrol. Might be better to move one of those cars to that position. The Fords, whatever they are, that's not holding up out there, move it to a position that you're just driving out to tire locations. That's not in pursuit of people.
I have a couple of the,
Might even put them in a Crown Vic. Go ahead.
I said it before.
He's gonna need a little more speed than that.
that are not accepted with. They, it's one that our civil deputy drives, because he doesn't need the cage and camera and, you know, all of that. And then the one that I used to drive. Chief Bates is driving it right now, but it doesn't have the cage or cameras or.
Yeah. I just checked, Joe, to see if his vehicle was a police.
It has no cage in it, sir, than having a radio and lights, it's just a standard car.
So Melissa, you spent 58 on the vehicles, you got at a 488, so we got $438,000 left. Plus the 300, so how many vehicles we talking about, getting 10, 5 and 5? I'm a little confused.
We got five, we get 5 in this budget. They're being built right this month.
That's for the 488,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah,
And then
What we're doing is,
July, they're just now.
we just had to spend the money on it.
right,
Okay.
Yeah, or I'm.
And that's why I was asking if, you know, something happens and the conveyor belt breaks and they don't get my conveyor belt.
Get chips.
I'm asking to be able to transfer that money from this budget year over into next year so that I can still get those 5 that I ordered plus try to buy more.
I'm with you.
Don't you have an active PO for those vehicles?
I don't because I don't have a price on them. They don't have. The dealer doesn't have the price on them until they actually ship them. And then, you know, again, and even if I got the PO now. And I didn't get the vehicles until October 15th, the PO from 2022 is not gonna. I think you said it's 2023, using 2024. That's why I was asking to carry it over. If something happens that I'm not able to do those vehicles here or not.
If they just start building, by the time you can get them from the factory, it's gonna be cutting it close, and then you still gotta send them to the outfitter. So you're probably not gonna get them before October, kind of same boat Tommy's in this truck.
Even if I'm able to get the vehicles here on the ground by then, I'm still gonna have to have them outfitted, and I can't get that done before October 1st. I guess what I would ask is that the remaining part, whatever's left in that budget from this year, be carried over into next year, because I'm still having to equip the vehicles.
well, we'll just figure that before we approve the final budget, I guess. Which is 1st of September, that August 21st.
You can't change that date, Sandy?
Huh?
Say you can't change that date.
Well, y'all want to do it approved or roll back, and that's the roll back day. We normally have their second good thing.
Well, that's when we thought we might go over the 3%, but we're not going over 3%.
3.5%.
I just didn't have the budget done by 8/23. Anything else? Yeah, we went over the fuel thing, or was that, yeah,
Yeah, we went over the fuel.
300,000. We used the same numbers this year.
Get more deputies, well, that's that number. We'll snap it.
I think it was figure it down on what y'all change. Get that and. Yeah, like.
Okay. Well, I don't know that we changed any line items except for the auto purchases. And we just need to figure probably not 370 instead of 300. Yes. We're gonna add one more vehicle to it and for a total of 5, correct? I don't believe so. I don't want to go all the way back up there. I don't think
they changed.
Yeah.
we didn't have any changes. Why not up there? We just talked about additional positions.
The first time ever, I guess y'all putting a little money in for subscription and dues, $1,500. Never done that before.
That was because whenever it came time for, or whenever I got the bill for, you know, the sheriff's association or sheriff's, whatever it was called. And whatever, and I called them, I'm like, what do I take this out of, you know, was it miscellaneous? And Michelle told me subscriptions and dues, and I said, I don't have any money there, so she told me to add it for this year, so that's why I put in some money there for that. For any of that stuff that comes up.
So the printers for the vehicles are in Scott's budget.
That's what Scott told me. He said that he was told, he thought that that would come out of his budget in IT, but just to
Okay,
ask y'all to put the money in his budget for it.
all right.
$800 a piece, you said?
Yes, sir.
How many we need?
15.
Do they have to be securely mounted in the vehicle, or are they relatively portable so that they can be exchanged between vehicles?
They're
No.
portable, but we would have them inside the vehicle so that they're not being slung all over the vehicle. You know, whenever they're out in the rain.
What I'm saying, can they be easily switched between vehicles?
That I haven't done for sure. I don't know how they mount it inside the vehicles.
If every one of them has one, we should need to switch it.
Right.
But anyway,
Well, we don't. I'm just thinking if one goes down.
Yeah.
You can grab one out of the spare vehicle rather than switch the whole vehicle over.
we're gonna knock on wood, we don't have.
You have a budget for a couple extra ones, you can put on the shelf.
All right, anything else?
Me? Yeah. We don't do it.
Okay.
Salaries. Go ahead, ask for it. That's the biggest.
We're working hard.
I know you
Working
are. I
hard.
appreciate it. We're struggling. We got some good people, and keep working God.
Well, thanks for doing this, what I should do, appreciate it,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that gives us an idea.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. If you got anything I put, please let us know. Good.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thanks. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Captain, thanks for doing a great job out there at the jail.
Yes.
Dadgummit, that's best it's been in a long time.
Some days pretty trying. Yes, sir. They're scrambling out there, things, we're trying to replace above board. When we get to the point, when the jail standards, somebody's asking if you can go see a small jail. I run a smaller jail like ours, that come see us. We'll get there, it's a work in progress, and that's all place safe. Good. All right.
Very good.
Thank you for your
Thanks.
support.
Thanks.
Sir.
Y'all want to discuss anything else today or,
Well, we're gonna get the constables, get that straight.
okay? Do what? Yes, that's what I was just doing, was trying to find,
Thank you, guys. Thank you. See you soon.
how to get them back. I closed it to make it bigger and now I don't know how to get them back. The little what? Well, this is a different, this is not the PC version.
Go back up.
Hold on, let me take it over here to my screen and I'll work on it. Oh, I can't take it.
You trying to go?
Well, I'm not for adding them two positions back in the jail. We can't continue to do this, gentlemen, where you just come in here and say, hey, I want to do away with these two positions, add them over here, and then come back 2 months later and add them back. It never ends.
There's gotta be some give and take. I agree.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost as to why you didn't need them then, 'cause you needed this, but you never filled, but now you need those back.
Now, it's different on the radio person. We were told right straight up front, we're wanting to add this person, but I will be here and add him back in budget time. We were never told that on the jail people. So. And I don't understand this animal control. What are you gonna do when you pick a dog up? You ain't got no place to take it.
We're working on that too. So,
We're working on Van Zandt County getting that animal shelter.
no,
We're working on-
no,
working with the
that's
city.
arrangement.
City.
We're working on an agreement with another entity. That's all I can say right now.
Are they giving us a better agreement than last time?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, here we are, constable number 1. So do we want to make any?
Well, the only thing you would want to make is the fuel and in I don't understand these printer cartridges. I don't know that JP out there in the constable couldn't get together and just have like a printer.
Only doesn't have access to that office rep of mine. It's locked. So he doesn't have, he can't print anything.
Should he be allowed access to the office or not? I mean, I don't know. Should he be allowed to go in there?
I mean, the security uses our printer down here, you know.
But we don't have court related stuff in our offices. That's not,
No, he's got stuff, he's got extra. He's got like-
I mean, I just asked him. I didn't know.
When I worked over there, the constable was locked out the office.
Okay.
Well, I need to, I say leave it for right now. I would like to get Scott to find out, one, what kind of printers they are. And
Probably the Xerox.
well, yeah, and then find out what the warranty is on them. And is it really worth spending for the Xerox cartridges or getting the other manufacturers? It's cheaper and we'll not worry about the warranty. No.
It really had this, what you call popular order for. Just with the name on the and all of it. And it can then give me. Where you wound up buying Xerox, which now they're costing. And then, so we got one in. So I swapped mine because I use mine every day. All the time.
Yeah, let me get with Scott on that. So we'll leave it where it is right.
Well, I remember this part of the state, I was like, I'll keep up $1,000 in 3 months.
I think on the salaries, we need to change that to where. Like, I go back to mine.
I would suggest we not discuss salaries right now
Yeah.
because it's all part of the bigger package.
Yeah, I think so,
And
yeah.
let's just work on the expense.
Yeah.
Remember, this is number 1 for me.
Yes,
I know
okay.
that. We're-
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, we generally discuss them all at one time and in that regard. So are there any changes, other additional changes that you see? The 9,000 is okay for the fuel?
I think that's too much, but. You know, I think it should be more in line with the other constables. I mean. He does a great job out there, but that's like his personal car. I mean.
If you let him do it on 6.
Yeah, he lives in that car.
I disagree with you. That's Tommy's life. He doesn't have the life that the other guys have.
Right.
Leave the man alone. If he wants to go out there and work, do police work, let him do it.
He had,
Yeah.
But
I mean, look at how much.
No, he's-
that's his car.
He
I mean,
had a day of 24.5 hours.
We're
Figure that out.
we're getting 3 men's work, you know,
Yeah.
actually 4 men's work on the one guy.
I'm not arguing about that.
$4,000.
So my question is, auto maintenance at 23,000, is that necessary when he's getting in the vehicle?
Is it
2,300,
2,300?
I'm sorry.
It's 2,300.
And then, okay, but, that's another question, what happens to his current vehicle when he gets his new one, where does that go?
We
Is
sell
that-
it, we'll auction it. He'll turn it in to the court and we'll,
Why auction it, why not make it the animal control person or the,
well, because it's a POS. It's got 200,000 miles.
Smooth out. I had my mechanic doing all kinds of work on it just to save him funds and save the county money.
It's worn out. Got 200,000 miles on it.
all right, so we'll auction it off, okay.
But on that one, we did that. Well, let me remind you on Pat Jordan's. He had a very good vehicle that he turned back in and we moved it to the fire marshal's office. If I agree with you, if it's any count, but
It's
I
not.
think it's worn out.
Okay. Okay.
I rode with it the other day. It's worn out.
Okay. All right. Okay, so no changes to JP one, Constable one?
You gonna check on the printer stuff?
Yes. Yeah, I'll check.
I don't think so.
He's just singing.
His kids are all grown. He's single. He's got a girl he's dating. But this is his life.
So that's his life.
Okay. And he loves it, that's for sure. All right.
And the people love him.
So we skipped down, we got office supplies at 500, 200. I'm just gonna go with his change.
Are you on number 2?
Yes.
Okay.
6,000 for lubricants, which is $1,000 more. And it doesn't show, but he spent $1,000 this year. So is it necessary to go up to 5 when he hasn't spent but 1,000 so far this year?
Where we at?
Constable number 2.
On fuel, are you on fuel and lubricants?
Yes.
Well, the price of fuel is going up. It's like everything else.
All right, he spent $1,000 for 6 months or 7 months. How many months is it?
We're at 8 months now. So I'll get September, 9 months.
He's, some of that was spent, of course, he's changed what he's done. He was working part-time for the police department, and so he quit that just to do a full-time, so he's full-time now, so it's gonna make up, he's gonna need that 6,000.
Okay. So law enforcement supplies the same, so is the uniforms. 1,500 training, that's probably adequate.
No, that's
That
gone,
comes out.
that's gone.
That's gone.
That's gone.
It comes out of that other fund. And I don't,
What about travel to the training?
That's gone. That all comes out of T-close.
Okay,
I don't see where, on him and Pat Jordan, why we continue to budget for deputies when they never spend it. I don't, they've never spent none this year. They didn't spend none last year. I don't understand why we continue to do that.
okay, where's the deputies on?
Fuel for deputies.
Okay. I see.
Fuel for deputies.
Fuel and lubricants for deputies, 500.
Who you on to?
Yeah. So do we need to eliminate that?
Only 2 of them have it, 2 and 4 have it, fuel for deputies. Number 2 has $500 down. And
Just brought it over from last year.
just brought it over for last year, didn't spend none the year before. I just don't understand why we put that there.
Sandy, is it not showing not spent here because it was transferred up to the regular fuel line? That's what I'm wondering. Is it not getting used or is it being moved to the normal fuel line?
In other words, is the deputy's fuel being charged to the regular auto?
I don't see it. I don't see how. And
No, what I'm saying is when When the constable gets low on fuel himself, is he taking the deputy's fuel and moving it to his line item?
Is it doing a budget amendment?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He will at the end of the year.
Line item transfer is the correct term.
Well, what are we gonna change that to? I mean, you know,
It's two and four, because Tommy doesn't have a deputy and Colin didn't have. Now he does. Last year they didn't have.
just got one too.
Just as a result.
But he still has no money for fuel. And we shouldn't, I'm telling you, it's like you talked about yesterday. If we pull up to a fuel station and put a credit card in that thing and then take that nozzle and stick it in a personal vehicle, you're breaking the law. I don't care if it's a constable or me. You do not put fuel in a personal vehicle that the county pays for.
And I heard the fuel bill the other day, because, you know, there's times I just need to look at. Keep my eyes on it. And I got it down there, I think it was 13% of the, because you can, how many charges. It tells you on the bill, 13% of it was I had to approve with no receipts. And I'm like, wait a minute, that
Should not happen.
Which agency?
what Michelle and Melanie worked out, was Melanie has the sheets. And then she has a card on the fuel bill, doesn't have a ticket, she writes that ticket down. Writes the number down, and she signs it off. It's always the sugar department, and, you know, they're busy, you know, the guy pull up to his phone, and I'll take out a nothing for the state. I get that, but it was 13% when I checked.
It should not happen.
Max.
I understand,
It is max.
but there's no excuse if they, and I'm telling you, if as soon as you say, well, if you don't give us a receipt, we take that out of your salary, I promise you the receipts will come.
So is there one card for everybody? Or are there individual cards?
Each officer has a card.
So at least the charges can be traced back to an officer.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they may trace back to who bought it.
The vehicle has a card.
I got a question.
No, it's, it may be the vehicle, it has a back on the chart.
Yeah, they have to, if it's a standard Wix, like we had at the fire station in Grants Lane, when you put your card in, you gotta punch in your ID, so they know you're charging it. Then you punch in the vehicle.
Because some of the. Were like on, one car had like 2 deputies on. it. You were chasing them all over that paper. So that explains that.
Yeah, it's whatever car they're running, they're driving that car. That car comes back to the car, you put the deputy's name in, who got it, and they should have a beginning mileage.
It does.
So you should be able to track that car, look back and see the mileage and pretty much tell that fuel went in that car.
I got a question. So we're paying on these cards, we're going to the gas station, using a credit card, we're paying what it costs for gas. Have we ever thought, this is thinking outside the box again, getting just like the R&B has a gas pump at the sheriff's office, and we get it for a discounted price. And when that car comes in, you fill it up, and the deputies sign something, hey, you filled it up at 11:29, X amount of gallons full, a law. How much money would that save if we're filling up at the sheriff's office and not at a gas station? But every time that car leaves, it's full and have a log on it.
You get a deputy out here.
that's a problem.
You can't drive that.
No, that's what I'm saying, when that Tahoe leaves, if you have a deputy come through there and he only uses 1/8 of a tank, it doesn't matter. When he goes back in, shift changes, it gets filled up. I mean,
They take those vehicles, they can buy them, and some of those, you know, you got the card and something. You got charged.
We tried to deal with that too.
Okay.
We tried to deal with that.
What they do, when they cross that county line, they get on the radio and they check on it and they start running calls right then. They may not come to sheriff's office.
It's the fire marshal. I checked the fire marshal. It wasn't him, it was one of the, it was Moyet, I think. Every one of his charges were in gun there.
It does.
It is in Trinidad, it is in that.
But he's
It's not
gonna
it.
on the way in or out.
I think that,
Right back. I mean. that's
We-
it.
We,
yeah, you're
we
talking about.
used to not require, we used to require them to live and keep the car in, no drive home out of the county. We used to do that.
After that.
And we ought to do something about that, you know.
That's up to the sheriff's office.
I think that we can set a rule about,
Take on policy.
yeah, take on policy.
But I think you'll have.
Yeah, you know, that's,
Yeah,
that's,
there's a lot of people live in Kaufman County, maybe, I mean, it's not that far away. God, it was, no telling how much money I would
I
save.
know we had one that lives in
Yes,
the
sir.
football area, I know we have one that lives in Mesquite. I know we have one that lives in Tool, one lives in Trinidad.
Does any live in Van Zandt County? But you just say.
Yeah, they're hard, let's keep people that live here working.
there's some sheriff's
Not for
departments that
employees.
require their employees to come and have detail and pick up the car at the sheriff's office. And that's the proper way to do it.
Then you can fill it up like you're talking.
That's
It
right.
goes back to that give and take. If we're gonna give them this salary increase, you know, they may have to give up a little bit here. It's not gonna cost them any money. They're getting more money. It may be a little bit more of an inconvenience, I guess.
Gas, the right back.
Yeah,
Where you're on their own. we-
yeah, that's right. I mean.
That's an issue, but it's not a budget issue. But back on this thing, none of these guys have gone over or gonna go over $5,000 on their fuel this year. None of them. With the exception of Tommy, so I don't know why we're increasing them all, but it's just $1,000, that's okay. It should still be there. As long as they don't ask to move it somewhere else at the end of the year.
Well, my question is, if they're not spending it now, why do they need to budget the same amount?
I agree.
Okay,
I agree, and none of them are gonna spend, year to date, Pat spent $2,100. Jeff spent a little more than that. Not,
They're freezers. They haven't even spent 5,000 per year.
that's correct, even in 2020, when it went so high, 2022, when fuel went so high. It's,
Got close.
That went over 5,000 two times, barely, barely.
so. I personally think 5's plenty, and if they get in trouble, we're gonna do just what we did with Tommy. We're gonna come back in here and make arrangements.
Well, I disagree with that. You know, if you have a budget, you gotta live within your budget. You know, good gosh.
Well, Virgil, with all respect,
So,
well,
if he
that's
did-
exactly what I said when,
Yes,
that's exactly what I said when Joe wanted to remodel that office. Joe, you don't have that in your budget, but you voted to do it. So which
He
guy?
had the money. He had the money to do that. He just done a line item transfer into that. He
But
did a
we
line
should-
item transfer.
But our budget, we should build these budgets as accurate as we can during the year. If we're not, then let's all walk out of here and let Andy write down something he wants to write down, and then we'll come back and adjust it during the year.
Well, we meet in the middle and make it 5,500.
We're not on that, we're on doing an accurate budget. That's what I'm discussing.
I believe the 3 ought to be at 5,000 and Tommy should be double or be the 9,000.
I'm sorry, what?
The 3 constables. Fuel and lubricants should be $5,000 and Tommy should be 9.
I agree.
I think you need to give Jeff the deputy constable sign, so if he's gonna have a deputy actually working.
Well, let's decide on the fuel before we move on to the next item. So is everybody in agreement?
I agree.
With the 3 constables at 5,000 per fuel and Tommy at 9.
Yeah, hey, that's great. The other 3 constables don't use theirs for personal vehicle, and Tommy uses it for personal vehicle, or whatever, you know. I don't care where Tommy goes, he's going in that dadgum car, and if that's the way you want to do it, that's fine. I mean,
Tommy doesn't have a personal life.
I have seen him in his personal vehicle when he's not in uniform, he's doing personal stuff. It's just not very often.
Let's be honest here, yeah.
Ain't very often. Have you looked at his report, his monthly report?
I've seen. Yeah, he's
16 to 18 hours a day.
he does a great job, but like I say, if you gotta go to the grocery store or gotta go to the Tractor Supply, well, where we go?
How's that any
That's his
different
job.
than the other guys?
I agree. I mean, you even had 3 constables saying Tommy's workaholic. I mean, they even
He is a
agree.
workaholic, but I'm just saying, go for it, but that's his
Okay,
personal
we
video.
made a decision. Let's move with that. Let's move on to the deputy control. Deputy fuel and lubricants.
I think we need to match Jeff to the Pat, or I guess either one of them, do something if he's gonna have a.
Well,
Okay.
Pat's got it at $1,000.
1,500.
No, it's auto maintenance. The one above it is $1,000. And none has been spent this year on deputy fuel.
I agree. Or the year before. I don't know why we budget anything for,
I would be comfortable with $500 for the 2 that want to have. Again, you're looking at people who are volunteering their time to serve the county. The least we can do is pay for their gas.
but we're not. He's not paying for it.
He's
You
not
just
paying.
said a while ago, why do you want to budget for something that you're not spending? And now you're doing the same thing that you said a while ago we shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Which rules are we gonna play by?
The only reason I
Run
look
this
for
by me
transfer, I
again.
know they transfer it up. and use
They're
it
not
there.
spending it, Andy.
They
Right.
can transfer it up.
Okay,
They're budgeting it and using none of it. And
Okay.
you said just a while ago, why do you want to budget for something and
Right.
not spend it?
all right. You're correct.
If they're using it, I'm all for it. But in the last,
I was talking about doing it, is I know we're using that to move up and pad their fuel budget in Croswell. If you wanna move it straight up to there and just start off with it there.
why would they move it up, Chad, when they're not going over what they're budgeting? Go back to the previous years. They've never gone over the budget except for one time. Pat did a few years ago.
So I'm fine with taking it out,
Yeah, I wanted to see my argument then.
taking it out. And that is Jeff and Pat, correct? Those are the only 2 that are budgeted?
No, Jeff didn't ask for it.
He paid that, okay,
You want to pack the other out?
yes.
He's got to drive his own personal vehicle. He's got to drive his own personal vehicle.
No, this is,
Well, he doesn't use that. You're that for it.
we're talking about the deputies,
That's what I'm talking
okay?
about.
A deputy would be somebody else, not the constable,
Yeah, she's talking about Keith's deputy constable.
That is in the cost.
okay? Oh, okay. But he hasn't spent any this year,
Right. Because he drives his own vehicle.
okay?
So there's not gonna be any deputy. All the way.
Correct.
Okay. Are we gonna just put that on it?
Yes, I believe we should add that.
Well, hold on. Yeah, no, I agree, but that's why I was getting back to those salaries,
We're gonna make some salaries for that.
because they got that salary with that. They're tied in together.
Okay, or-
How you gonna work that? What if Tommy makes the next level certificate well, you can't give it to him mid-year.
You can't. It'll only change every October.
Budgeted for the high end. So I think what Sandy wants to know, do we put a certificate pay line item in the constable's budget? Yes, we will.
Yes.
We will do that. Okay, anything else? We are, any of the other line, wait, let's go to Constable 4 real quick and check. So we're doing the 5,000 for the fuel and lubricants, and everything else is pretty much the same. We're moving the
Taking the
deputies out. And leaving the other, so.
One other thing on 3, Sandy, he's got 1,500 in there for training. And he doesn't need that, since they found out where it comes from.
Yeah, we're taking out all the training.
Yeah, from 2 and 3.
Are we ready to adjourn? It's 12:03.
Let me ask, is Pelagic figured in any of these?
I'm sorry.
Cop sync? Is there somewhere in there they're paying that out of?
It would only be Pat. So he's got 1,500 in miscellaneous,
Is that where we're paying it from?
most likely.
Tico,
It's about $217
Texas Association.
what he paid.
I said over the contract services line or something that come out of it.
Yes. No, he did. He budgeted for it. That's in his miscellaneous. That's where he's spending it out of. Yes.
Whose turn is it to get the new car in the constable's rotation?
For this.
I think we're caught up on constables. I think it's,
Didn't have anybody that
No.
had it budgeted.
Huh?
I think it's
Yeah.
just.
Yeah. It's Jeff's turn. He's got it budgeted down here.
now see, now that may be a good one, Andy, that you want to move somewhere,
Yeah.
because Jeff hadn't been in there, I mean, it hadn't been long since that was, what's his Tisdale's car, and he didn't drive it much.
And it's an older car, but it's been just took care of.
All right, we'll figure out what to do with it.
So we better not approve precinct 3 then.
That is true.
Yeah, for his auto.
It's his
No,
turn.
it's just,
his turn.
yeah, I know it's his turn, but are we gonna put him out of the rotation or just wait?
No, put him in it, I mean, if it's his turn, I think it ought to go.
Yeah, okay.
Leave the rotation as it is.
We got that money and we've got that fund going good, I don't think we need to switch up on him.
Have to vote for Tommy because he's not able to get his this year.
Tommy's on order, it just won't be here in time. It's between the manufacturer and the.
Remember, Virgil, we cover those vehicles out of that fire marshal's fund, where we usually
Yeah.
correct, where we usually buy it from them,
Right.
and it's
All right,
works out good.
any further business? All right, I call this meeting adjourned. It's 12:05 and we will see you again. When's the next one? No,
Tuesday, isn't it?
no, I don't think it's Tuesday.
Monday,
I think it's Monday.
Monday,
Monday when we skip Tuesday and
I think it's Monday, I'm not gonna, who we got Monday?
I'd have to go look at my.
I'm not gonna be here Monday.
All right, I'm ending the meeting, so stop talking, please.
I won't say another word. Yep, I'm out of here.
Good luck to you.